All right. So we're going to send out the link, and
Ready
then we
when you are.
we shall send out the link, and then we shall we shall just begin this little nerd out session on World Whiskey Day. Woohoo!
For those of us who can legally use alcohol. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah. All right. I'm sending out the link while I'm taking little sips of my writer's tears. That is the brand of whiskey I'm drinking right
Yeah,
now.
I know. I'm nearly out.
So you had
That
it
is the
too,
most
eh?
I keep getting recommendations for it.
Is fair.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dayton? Dayton, hello.
Best whiskey there is, and you got me to it.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm almost done.
Like that is the most appropriate name.
Oh, it's definitely good. I
That's the
said
most
I'm
appropriate
almost
name
done with my drink.
for a whiskey I've ever heard. Like Writer's Tears.
I'm here.
That's appropriate.
What the? Okay, is it working now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's working pretty good.
I said I'm almost done with my drink.
There you go.
Okay, well, so yeah, I'm sipping on Writer's Tears. I got the actually got the bottle right here, and on the bottle it actually has stuff.
No, it does.
It actually has stuff written on there.
Okay.
And it says, "I
Don't
traded
know
my
what's going on.
I don't know what I don't know what could be going on, man.
Are you Dayton? Are you talking to us?
I don't think he's. I think he is talking to us because it says that we don't have everybody watching yet.
All right, give me like
Oh, he dropped out. He'll probably click. He'll probably come back in soon.
Give me 1 minute. I gotta do something real quick.
Okay. All right. Well, while we are waiting for them to come back, this was an interesting start to the stream, eh? Well, so yes, happy World Whiskey Day, everybody. I hope you're having a good one. And I should probably pull up the stream so I can look at the voice chat in case anyone ever and not the voice chat. I mean the the one chat here. 1 second. Let me pull up. There we go. All right. Welcome, Gorgonite. I see that a wild Gorgonite has appeared. Hello, good sir. How are you doing? Well, I do hope that you heard that. All right. And anyways, what I was saying, for World Whiskey Day, I got some Writer's Tears right here. And later on, I am going to pull up some Suntory, have some Japanese whiskey. Because if it's World Whiskey Day, then what we have to end up doing is we have to drink some whiskey from all over the world, don't we? Gorgonite. I ain't dead, so I might be doing something right. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a good start, isn't it? Let's see here. Hello, Dayton. You are back. Hello, Dayton.
Yeah, let's hope that the microphone works this time.
All right. And Slim dropped out
Hello.
for a second, too. So
Please tell me that this is working.
yes, it's working. Hello.
Oh my god.
You okay?
Phew. Starting to lose my patience.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I'm fine. Apparently apparently the cord to my microphone was unplugged for some odd reason.
Hmm.
Don't know what's going on.
Well, I was just telling everybody that for World Whiskey Day, I'm right now I'm drinking an Irish whiskey, and
You had
then
to give me addicted
once
to
and after I'm done with this one, I'm going to be moving on to a Japanese whiskey. So I'll be sipping on this for a while, and then I'll transition at some point.
Oh boy, you need help.
No, I don't. I'm fine. All right.
Oh boy. Uh-huh. Sure.
All right. So we will be discussing some nerdy stuff, but I suppose that we should refrain from beginning until Slim gets back. So, how has your day been?
Oh yes, of course. We can't do it without our brother. Busy.
Very, very busy.
Definitely busy. Pretty much it was just doing grocery shopping, moving the furniture into a storage unit. Oh yes.
And we got Slim back.
Yo, what's up? Okay. Just tweeted out the link. Make sure I can get as many people here as we can. You guys know the old saying, right?
What's that saying?
There's always the friend who brings the girls, and there's always the friend who takes them all home.
Well, that's quite a bleak outlook.
Yeah, man. We failed.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going. Here's what I was saying before you left, and then Dayton left. So, what I was doing was I was reading. I was reading what it says on the writer's tears bottle. It says, "I traded my tomorrows to remain in yesterday. Whiskey tears are falling now. Each one cries another day." And here is the description of the whiskey. Flashes of apple with hints of vanilla and honey over a distinctively Irish pot still base, gently spiced with a burst of ginger and butterscotch with long background notes of toasted oak. Long, elegant finish with subtle notes of milk chocolate and almonds. So yeah, this stuff's pretty good.
Jesus Christ.
This
sounds like something from the Blackbriar Meadery. Fuck Skyrim, dude.
Nah, I got a feeling that Blackbriar Meadery actually isn't that good. It's just her snuffing out all the competition.
Yeah, probably, to be honest. If we're gonna be honest, that's probably what's most likely what happened.
Yeah. Okay, well, so what will we be discussing tonight?
Well, I think we should keep the tradition and talk about Castlevania because unlike the last time, we apparently have
And then
opposing
house.
views on it. We have different views on it here.
Yeah, I actually loved season 3.
Oh yeah. uh, okay. I have mixed opinions on it. Um,
Oh, really? Because from what I gathered, you hated it.
I mean, yeah, but there's stuff that, like, here's the thing. I like parts of it. Parts of it I think could have been done better. And yeah,
Oh, we lost Dayton again.
ah, crap.
Well, here, go on. I'll try to see if he needs a hand with anything.
Yeah, no problem. Uh, I think like I think I think like I said, season one was really good. Everyone was blown away by season one. It was a great adaptation, apparently. Again, I'm not super into the games. I don't know all the games lore or anything like that. But coming in as from perspective of someone who doesn't know all the games lore and stuff like that, I still really liked the first season. It was a really solid season. I was blown away by it actually. And then we get, season 2 where it had problems, but these problems could be fixed. No like, we had the pacing and the lack of we had the lack of Sypha and Alec. We had a lack of focus on the main trio. We all agree on the pacing of it being not great either. I think that's like the main thing we agreed on. The
Yeah,
biggest
that
problem with the
was.
pacing.
It felt like you were sitting around waiting for the big event to happen. And in order to create a captivating story, you should be able to sate the audience's appetite before you even get to the climax of the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, while I didn't, well, I think like season 2 was more about setting up this complex, system, right? Rather than just focusing on the three main characters and having it naturally branch out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Trying
Also,
to
also sticking the trio in a basement for most of the season wasn't
yeah,
necessarily exciting.
yeah, it's very I mean I liked a lot of it. The character interactions we did get between the three were pretty good. I just wish there were more of it because while like a good example is like when they're like fighting in the corridor, it's really awesome because this is some of the best action and apparently Bloody Tears starts playing and that's like the theme song for the series. So when people and even though again I didn't play all the games, the only ones I played was Super Castlevania 4 and Symphony of the Night. Those are the only two games I really played, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know the general story and general lore, why Dracula keeps coming back and stuff like that. I don't know like the deep ins and outs of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But um, when I see that people here but I got more into it and I looked more into Castlevania, and then I hear Bloody Tears and like, oh, this is like the theme song for the franchise, and it's basically it was basically them acknowledging, okay, yeah, this is Castlevania, this is what you wanted to see, this is the game finally being adapted into um a show basically, and that got people excited and stuff like that. So basically, while things didn't always work out, it had a really good and big payoff, so we could forgive it.
Right. And just so you know, Dayton messaged, and he says that it's going to take a little bit of time because he has to restart his computer.
Oh boy.
So I think that we'll keep talking, but let's avoid getting into season 3 just yet, just so that we give him an opportunity to come in and give his 2 cents.
Sure, no problem. Let's
So you can keep going over like the pros and cons of season 2.
I think season 2 reminds me a lot of it feels like how to put this.
Oh, I just want to
When
say we have someone who agrees with me in the chat. A
who is it?
Mr. Beta Cat. I have come for the hot take that is me liking season 3.
You fucking Judas.
Hey, Mr. Beta Cat, I agree with you. I loved season 3.
I'm surrounded by Benedicts, and I will
Didn't mean
not
to
stand
interrupt you.
for it.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, so keep going.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I don't mind. I mean, we're all cool here, man. You can love it, hate it, whatever. It's cool. Um, yeah, but personally for me, like it's season 2 felt like it was a sequel that wasn't trying to. It felt like a sequel that was trying, like I said, trying to walk before it could crawl, and because of that, I felt a bit underwhelmed when they fought together in the end because I'm like, there's a lot of stuff I felt like just paced well, like you know how Sypha was able to just teleport the castle, even though she's supposed to be an okay wizard. Now she's a master, and no, I'm not. She's not like she's not pulling. She's not pulling a Ray here. I'm not calling Sypha a Ray here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not calling her that. You know, Salem.
Well,
You know me, buddy.
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't some of the time they had spent in the basement, she was actually enhancing her powers while she was learning about the techniques that she used to transport the castle.
Yeah, but I think like it comes down to the fact that I think like it's trying to imply that she has just as much magical power and experience. And basically, she's just if she can move. If Dracula uses his magic to move the tower, you're implying that Sypha has just as much magical power as Dracula.
Well,
And
I'm not so sure I could agree with
yeah,
that because
yeah,
the thing is, it's like maybe certain abilities required certain insights,
yeah. Like
and maybe this teleportation thing fell into something she was familiar with, whereas Dracula is someone who is seasoned all around. He doesn't just specialize in one technique. I mean, you even
yeah,
saw it in his fight scene. It's like he had a multitude of different attacks, whereas Sypha, when you see her fight, she is very limited to what elements she can summon. It's pretty much fire and ice.
yeah. I'm not saying that. I just wish that could have like developed more to get a better payoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
you
get
could have.
that, and once again, whatever person was the genius to decide, yes, let's take our 3 main characters and leave them in a basement for most of the show. It's a little hard to develop them that way.
Yeah, like that's like I said, that's like my big problem. Um, and like I said, I don't have I don't have a problem with that. I think overall it really did just come down to the pacing. The pacing was just not very, and they focused on the wrong things. They tried to set up this like vampire hierarchy of Dracula, and you know, basically trying to make like a trying to set up a Game of Thrones style thing, right? Pretty early on, before, like, cause remember, like stuff like that took time to develop over a course of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to understand everything. This one tried to do all of that in one season, and I'm like, here's some new characters. Just do do this, and here's some new
It
stuff
sure
and
did
this
throw
stuff.
it sure did throw a lot at you that you
And
had a very limited time to digest.
yeah, and I'm not getting into it because Dayton isn't here yet. But spoilers.
Well,
That's
actually,
one of the reasons.
Dayton just messaged me. He said that we could begin without him, but when he jumps in, we'll give him the floor for quite a while.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all.
So go ahead and finish what
Uh,
you're saying.
that's kind of one of my problems with season 3 is that they didn't really learn their lesson for me anyway. In terms of that, and the worst part is like they kind of there's kind of like little consistent. There's like I just have so many problems with season 3 that I have a hard time. Dayton's back. Hey, Dayton.
Okay, can you
Um,
hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
good.
we could always hear you, man.
Well, I'm using my phone because I don't know what's going on with my computer.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, the phone sounds just as good. So
yeah. I use my phone
Good.
too, dude. Don't worry about it.
Well, make sure that stuff's all right. So let me
so
guess.
we didn't even get into anything yet. We just began talking about season 3.
Oh,
Okay, okay. So, okay, let me just. I think this is, and here's how I want to break it down, because I think like we can break everything down to 4 pieces. There's Isaac's. There's Isaac's. Then there's Isaac's. You know his journey to get
Yeah,
to
it's essentially multiple stories happening at once.
yeah. It's a Tarantino. They're pulling a Tarantino here. Um, it's Isaac going across trying to find
Hector.
a way to get to what's I keep forgetting his name.
Hector.
Hector, yeah, Hector. I keep forgetting his name. Stupid. Um, Hector. Isaac's trying to get to Hector. Then there's Siphon Alucard, and this new Saint Germain guy, and the judge, and the the cult of Dracula. That's the I would say that's the B. I think that's the A plot. I want to say.
Um,
Possibly?
yeah, I would say that yeah, the it would be Sypha and Trevor along with forgive me, I forgot the gentleman's name. The
I think
one
it's Saint Germain.
yes, okay, yeah, Jermaine.
Just say Davy Jones.
It's those three. It's
Yeah, go
those
ahead.
three who it's those three and their interaction with the cult of Dracula. They're the ones who I would say have the main plot, and then you
Yeah,
have
okay.
Isaac on the side who I'm not going to go into it right now, but I just have to say which was my favorite part of season 3.
Oh yeah,
But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
but aside from Isaac, you also have the
Alucard.
the vampire sisters. That one always confused me because it's like they call themselves sisters, but they're obviously not related, and two of them are even in a relationship, so it's a little weird. But
It's like a sorority sister thing. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Like
I'm just look. All I'm saying is it's a little weird to see a character call someone sister, and then a few scenes later, she's kissing that person. So, anyways,
yeah.
so you got that going on, and even though I think that some people would say Hector's story is tied in with them, I almost feel like Hector can almost have his own at times because a lot of his development is solely on his own, and
I want to know about that.
I mean, like, yeah,
Well, the thing-
we'll get to that.
yeah. And then of course you've got
we have
Alucard. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And we can all agree that's the most controversial
Yes, that was definitely controversial.
part.
It could have been handled way better. And once again,
Understatement of
Alucard's
the
Alucard's
understatement of the century, buddy. Understatement.
Alucard's bit. I don't think it was as tedious as it was when the like the trio was stuck in the basement all that time, but it dragged.
It
That
really
was
did.
definitely that.
In all
And
honesty,
then
I think if you cut out the Alucard thing, it wouldn't have affected the story at all.
Yeah, it really would. Like, I get that
Well,
it's it's setting something up, obviously, but I'm like, even though it is setting something up for an obvious future thing that's gonna happen with Alucard and the character stuff, at the end of the day, it all comes down to whether or not it was executed well. And I think that at the end of the day, we can all agree that it could have been handled better. At least it could have been handled better.
Here, since Alucard's arc is actually, it could be summed up really quick. So let's get into that one first, and because there's something I wanted to mention with in regards to how it's handled. So essentially, Alucard's arc is that he's got two foreigners who come by wanting to know how to hunt vampires, and he decides to train them, and
Yeah,
that's
which I
his entire
wasn't-
arc.
Yeah, which I wasn't against the idea.
Oh no, 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 oh, no, no,
I heard like that's actually like canon in the games. Like he
Yeah,
goes
it
to
is
Japan
canon.
and he trains Japanese warriors to become like the next breed of vampire hunters.
Oh yeah.
But it was handled much better in the game.
Yeah. What my problem is there are a couple things wrong with it. In my opinion, let me start off by stating something that really like gets under my skin as season 3 as a whole. And this is gonna be something that I think we all can agree with. That I think that you don't think about until you actually stop and look at, and we stop, take a step back, and look at the grand scheme of the story. And here it is. They get over like nobody seems to give a shit that Dracula is fucking dead.
Well,
nobody seems to care.
In terms of Alucard, I think that's really screwing with him. I think it even shows that he's got some psychological issues now because not only
He's talking to puppets.
Not only is he talking to puppets of his friends, but I think a big chunk of the reason why he's losing his grip of reality is because he was the one who killed Dracula.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm sorry. I'm just like you'd think there'd be like a power vacuum or something or acknowledgement by the people that all of a sudden this stopped, and I'm just like
I would agree with that, except for the fact that it seems that the event Dracula unleashing the army of the the army of the underworld upon Earth, I don't think that it lasted that long. I think it had a big impact, but I don't think it lasted very long in the way that the show presents itself. And because of that, it seems that people are willing to are able to pick up their things and move on a lot quicker.
Yeah, you
but
like,
but the thing is, his presence is still very much alive because these beings are still roaming the earth as you're informed immediately in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I get.
So it does seem a little odd that the world, that some elements of the world, I should say, are behaving same as usual.
Yeah, here's the thing, the death, okay, so the death of Dracula is something that everyone knows about. It's
Mhm.
confirmed that everyone knows about it. It's even confirmed like they know like who like at least most like the people who matter in the world or at least run the government or whatever know that it was a Belmont who did it. So I'm saying like they're kind of inconsistent with like like that's another thing like the the entire setup just feels so inconsistent. Like okay, let me put. I know we're supposed to be talking about Alucard, and I don't want to stray away from that. I'll get back to that in a second because I want to take up all the time here. But hear me out.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
I don't want to take up all the time. I want to go back to Alucard real quick. But hear me out. Hear me out here real quick. Um, from what we can tell, people are reacting to Isaac walking around with a demon army, pretty mundane about it. Are pretty mundane about it. They're just asking him to leave and are being very rude about it. They're not screaming or panicking. They're just saying, "Hey, we don't like monsters here. Leave." And that's a whole other can of worms. And then so apparently there's like governments and things outside of the main country that are being affected by it but don't seem to care. And then we have Sypha and Trevor who are going around and are casually slaying demons, and they see that humanity and civilization still doing okay, that there's still a form of government, there's still money going around and stuff like that, and they're doing fine. And then we have Alucard and the two siblings who are saying that vampires are still ruling over other countries, and I'm not sure how that works because like apparently they took out the top vampires in the world, so I don't know how that works. And
Well,
then of course,
I'm sorry.
and
I
then
just
sorry, and then like one more thing, and then Carmilla just outright says the world's in chaos and the humans are all over the place and like demons are all over the place, and there's nothing there and everyone's scrambling, but we're seeing information that contradicts that. The humans seem to be doing fine, relatively speaking. Outside of the beast, they seem to be taking care of the beast relatively fine because
Mhm.
again they still have government, they still have all this stuff. So it feels like it's really inconsistent with what it's trying to say. And I would say that, oh, well, this takes place over a course of different time periods, but they openly state for all of them, this is a month after they killed Dracula. So it comes off as really inconsistent to me because the world building is all over the place. It really does feel inconsistent to me.
well, I would argue that that the whole thing resides in that one word, world building, because this is a this isn't just like uh a separate universe or whatever. This is planet Earth. It's a huge place, and I think that's the part of the reason why the maybe some reactions are nonchalant to demons, vampires, and such, and then other places are still well under the thumb of these supernatural beings, is because not every area is going to be the same. And I think that the whole chaos can ensue from the fact that some of the most powerful vampires in the world have been killed in season 2. And thus, there's that saying, cut off the head of the snake and the snake dies. Well, here's the thing. Uh, the head of the snake can still technically bite you, and the body can still twitch. So
But also
just be,
there is
just
that other
because
saying.
just because you've done that does not mean that you've solved the problem immediately.
And
I,
also
I,
there's that saying, cut off one head tomorrow shall take its place. So pretty much it's like, sure, you killed off the most powerful vampire that ever existed, but then it's like, oh hey, you got some other problems. You got the demons from the underworld. You got other vampires that want to take control and rule over the humans. It's like, yeah,
I get that, but like it just feels like you made a big deal about like Dracula being the guy, and for the most part, the only person like and I hate doing this because I like to judge media for what it is rather than give what I want it to be. I hate doing that, but I want to try to give you an example of what I mean here.
mm-hmm.
If they kept like if they focused on Alec if they focused on the central theme of Dracula being dead and what happens after that, I think we would have gotten a stronger story. But this feels like it's trying to tell four different stories that have almost nothing to do with coping with Dracula's being gone. Because remember, Dracula was pretty much the main character in season two.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically the main character in season two. So I think like it would be a good natural progression to show that how him disappearing, the guy who made literally death his bitch, who made him a second in command, this really powerful guy suddenly disappearing and having that impact everyone. So like if I could rearrange some stuff in season three, I would say like my biggest thing would be have it all focus on one thing. I would say um like there's this like yeah, keep the whole Alucard dealing with his dad having to kill his father and stuff, keep that in. Have Isaac find a new purpose, keep that in. Have Carmilla and not just her sisters, but like show other vampires trying to move in on Dracula's turf. Not just this one sect of vampires who do
Mm-hmm.
nothing for almost the entire season, do nothing but complain about a plan that doesn't make any sense.
It's not
And
that the
then
plan doesn't make sense. It's the fact that it's a little hard to believe that um, that vampires have existed for assumingly eternity, and we have not a single vampire throughout the entire planet's existence has ever come up with the plan to create human cattle. It just that seemed a little strange.
And when
yeah,
you
but like she wants to turn the entire nation into a large basically a giant cattle. And I'm like, why? What's the flaw in the system of just getting humans? Hell, the more I think about it, weren't they already doing that? Like, didn't you have like vampire servants that like didn't the Japanese twins or whatever they were, didn't they outright say they had people enslaved just for that cause?
They did, but I believe that they said that
when what's her face died during the castle battle.
Yeah, I know she's dead now and they escaped and everything.
but no, what I was saying is that I, if not mistaken, that was a very unique situation because she didn't even want to use them as cattle. She was using them as her playthings, as her sick entertainment.
Yeah, but like even then, like basically, what like how is making them don't you already kind of see them as like here's like I don't get what the point of even doing that is. Like, what's the point of making the humans cattle? She says, "Oh, they're basically we could just basically make cattle and do and they're like and they can said it'll be just like that. They make babies at a time, and I'm thinking, okay, you want to make. I can think of like 1,000,001 reasons as to why no vampire has done that. Mostly because humans are still intelligent beings. They're not stupid. They're fat. You're faster and stronger than them, but they're not like mindless cow. They're not like cows or anything like that. They can fight back. They can think. They can outsmart you. They can beat you. You've proven that they can beat you. You know what? I just want to let's just we're losing focus. Let's talk about Alucard stuff first, and then we'll move on to the other stuff
Okay.
before we lose
Okay.
focus. Sorry.
So Alucard's bit. What I wanted to say before we switched focus, I'm wondering because we spent a long time with Alucard's arc just getting to the point where it kind of all that kind of happened was that it just brought us to the point where we recognize that there is still quite a bit of his father's influence in him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, would it have been better if they had cut Alucard almost completely from season 3 and perhaps they end the season with just a simple shot of the castle and some people impaled in front of the castle. Yeah. And then your mind would be racing, like, what happened? What was going on here? Why would Alucard do this?
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't necessarily be shock value, but it's like it would keep it would create some questions for the viewers to ask for the fourth season. And also we wouldn't have to sit through Alucard's pretty tedious arc. Does that make sense? Would you say that would improve it?
I mean, like, here's the thing. My biggest problem with Alucard's arc is I would say two very big things. Number one is that I find it really hard to believe, and I really, this comes down to my personal like takeaway, but I find it like really stupid that after 1 month he's already gone insane, more or less. Like, I get like being lonely or whatever, but to the point where you're making like dolls and puppets, I'm like, dude, it's been like a month. You've been isolated you've been isolated for years prior, and I get that you killed your dad and stuff, but like, dude, it's been a month.
He was on ice for those years. It's not like he could interact with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because Dracula sealed him in the coffin.
No, I thought Alucard did that to himself to heal his wound.
Oh, did he?
I fairly certain he did that, since he was the one who set up all the traps and all that stuff. And I don't know. I didn't rewatch the entire 3 seasons as I hoped to do.
Hey, Slim, are you there?
My memory's a bit vague.
Hey, Slim, are you there?
Oh boy. Now we probably lost Slim.
He muted the mic, but no, it's back.
Hopefully.
Hello, Slim. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I said my browser some BS. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And
Anyway,
behind the bag says it was Dracula that locked Alucard in the coffin.
yeah, and I get that, but like they're like, and I'm just like,
oh boy, did Slim get interrupted again?
I think his computer did something.
Well, good that I stayed on my phone.
Or maybe it's his phone. I don't know.
Well, my phone is working a lot better than what my computer is.
I'm surprised my computer's doing this well.
Then again, I probably need a new computer anyway.
Yeah, same. Mine's a potato.
I've had the thing since I was like in sophomore, junior year in my high school.
Yeah, it's been a few years then. I haven't had this one for too long, but it was a display model at a Target. So this thing was used quite a bit.
Oh, same thing with mine. Though then again, I should know better not to buy electronic stuff from Walmart.
Okay, so Slim dropped out. I think he'll probably be pulling back in.
So Dracula was the one who put him in the coffin. I don't remember that line ever being mentioned at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Dracula sealed him away because, I mean, at the time he was the only one who stood a chance at killing Dracula, and
True.
so he had to. Dracula had to make sure that nobody was going to interrupt him in his pursuit of
humanity.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to rewatch all 3 seasons as I hoped. But
So yeah.
So although I could
go ahead.
picture Alucard going nuts depending upon how well he was handling the grief, since even though he did grieve with Dracula for when Lisa died, but it's like maybe him losing both of his folks caused some type of mental damage to him that he was like started to go nuts, that making puppets of Cypher and Trevor were the only ways he can cope.
Not to mention he's lost the biggest, probably the most important male and female figureheads in his life, and then here comes two strangers who are both male and female and are also kind of into the arcane and the magical elements of things, who are there to support him. He probably used Trevor and Sypha as replacements for his mother and father,
if not possibly siblings. I don't know.
Not saying replacements as in like he sees them as his mother and father figure, but he's replacing them with the amount of importance he puts on them. Like he has to find something to love and something to care for, you know?
Oh yeah. Okay, Slam's back, hopefully.
Sorry about that.
Hello. Are you there, Slim?
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone just completely went haywire. I don't know what the heck happened. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my phone went haywire. But like, so what were you saying?
Oh, we were talking about like Alucard's possible the possibilities as to why he had lost his mind as much as he did in the beginning of the season. And I was bringing up the fact that Alucard Alucard lost his folks, and now the two people, and I was mentioning that he had he was literally all alone, with the exception of his father, who locked him away in a coffin, and he has two heroes that come to his aid, who are both male and female, and have an interest in the arcane and the supernatural and such. And it is very easy. It would probably be very easy for Alucard to um, grow onto Sypha and Trevor and kind of use them as replacements for his parents. Not necessarily saying like he sees Sypha and Trevor as a father and mother figure, but as two people that he can care for and show love to.
To be fair, like they did explain that um technically, like something about Alucard technically being a teenager because like he aged differently, so he's technically a teenager. I remember they said something like that in season 2.
Yeah, I suppose.
So maybe that has something to do with it. Is that technically he's a teenager? Like I don't know, something about him aging and he's technically a teenager. I remember Sypha saying something like that or something like some or other.
They want to bring back the goth phase.
But my problem with it is like it's only I really wish that if they did do this, they should have like kept it vague, like how long has it actually been since then, and like kept the time vague. But like now that I know it's been like about a month, I'm like, yeah, that's a little hard for me to believe. Just a little, like I don't think some. Not to mention, like the dude's not even really trapped there. The dude can fly and has super speed, so he can like go to different villages and come back no problem. It's not like he's trapped in there, and he can pass for human, and he can apparently go out in daylight. So I'm like, there's no reason why he can't interact with humanity. It's just that he chose not to, and and again, like when I hear, oh, it's only been about a month, I'm like, okay, then this really doesn't make much sense how he can. I don't know. That just rubbed me the wrong way. That rubbed me the wrong way. That it's been about a month and he has no reason to like stay isolated in the castle like his father. There's no reason for the isolation. I get that he's the guardian of the place now, but there's no reason for him to not explore and then come back.
Well, he would if he were to leave, he would leave it unguarded, and the
I'm
it is. I mean, if and I'm sure everyone's aware. There's quite a few things in that castle that he probably doesn't want certain people getting a hold of.
Yeah, but like I said, it really does come down to the whole like idea. Like I said, you're telling, like, I get that you don't want to be. I get that you want to be. They want to play off him being isolated and losing his mind, and I get that, but that I kind of loses its impact when I realize it's played up like one of those jokes you'd probably see in a cartoon where they have a full grown beard and they're like talking to people like they did in Castaway, like the whole Castaway joke. But then they said, "Oh, you've only been here for like 2 days," and I'm like, "Oh, that changes the context of this." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's only been about a month." But sure. And I think like if they just kept like the time vague, I think it would have worked a little bit better. I think like instead of like saying it's been exactly 1 month since you killed Dracula and all this stuff went down, I think that it just came off as somewhat rushed to me. It felt like there could have been a natural progression to this idea, and all of it just came crashing down at once. You know what I mean? It felt rushed, basically. The whole Alucard's entire situation, in my opinion, was rushed. In my personal opinion.
I'm not sure if I would. I think I can understand what you're saying. I just with how dragging it felt with Alucard's arc. It just I don't know if I would use the word rushed. I get what you mean regarding
Yeah.
that element, but I just because every time that it would turn back to Alucard, I'd be like, like we did a scene transition from Isaac's arc to go back to you, really?
Yeah, like I said, like I think like overall Alucard's arc was the worst handled easily.
Yes.
And then we get to my second problem, and it's the two vampire hunters. And it's all comes down to episode 9. Episode 9.
The episode that almost everyone hates and I absolutely loved.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I cannot. I do not like. I do not like episode. Like, I don't like episode 9 at all. But let's focus on the Alucard stuff for episode 9. What I don't like about this, like, you know how I said this whole thing felt rushed? Well, this is what I'm talking about. Like, first of all, these two vampire hunters, they have literally no reason to want to kill him. They have no reason. Like, I'm legit thinking, like,
Yeah.
they have no reason to want to kill him. There's no reason you shouldn't trust him. There's no reason. You have none. Zero, zip, nada. There's not a goddamn reason. It is like they did this deliberate. Like, I am 100% convinced they did this just for shock value and just for the sake of trying to justify Alucard not
Becoming like his
trusting
dad.
in turning into his dad. I'm like, you could have done so much with that concept of Alucard becoming a bit more like Dracula. I don't hate that idea. I think that's a cool idea. Alucard realizing that, okay, maybe Dad had a point about humanity. Maybe they're not perfect. Like, here's the thing. Like, he could see, like, Sypha and Trevor as good people. But then he sees, like, there are really bad people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that at the end of the day, it's best if he stays away from humanity as a whole, much like his dad. But when you go out of your way to do it the way they did it, I thought it was so bad.
Mr. Beta Cat actually mentioned in the chat, they don't trust him because they've been led to think vampires were kind in the past. They literally said this when they were trying to kill him.
No, like they said that we've been fooled in the past, and I get that, but like, you have literally no reason not to trust him. There's literally nothing. There's nothing there.
Well, think about the all the vampires they've surrounded themselves with. They've never met one that was kind, or one that was human-like. So that was probably on their mind the entire time, because there's several times during their stay with Alucard that they show each other glances that they think that, it's hinting that they don't trust him and that they're manipulating his emotions.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Foreshadowing can be like I don't like. There's good foreshadowing and bad foreshadowing, and I think season 3 of Castlevania is an example of bad foreshadowing because a lot of this and you see this late mega like Dayton. You know what I'm talking about with the judge, the ultimate reveal of the judge, right?
Oh god, the character.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere too.
The unnecessary attack on
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit about his character.
yeah. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Like literally added nothing to the plot.
nothing. This is the same thing, and I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah,
Why?
you just did this for the sake of shock. Somebody obviously wanted a vampire hentai. Somebody did. Somebody behind the writing crew was super horny and wanted to write vampire erotica, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But when the human characters contribute more to the plot than the vampires who do nothing but have sex,
you take that back.
They I start to raise my eyebrows when the humans do more than the vampires in a show about vampires.
You take that back. You take that back, you vamphobic.
In a show where the vampires are trying to take over the world, the humans contribute more to the plot than the vampires.
All right.
And I'm just like, but hear me out. What I'm trying to say is like, what did like look at everything that Alucard did. He fed them. He showed them almost every inch of the castle of Belmont Estate. He pretty much admitted that he helped kill all the other vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Like he admits he's half human, half vampire, and he has the stuff under control. Like he showed, like when they ask him about stuff, he says, "Sure, I can teach you about it." He doesn't keep any secrets from them. Like nothing. There's no red flags. I think they even admit in the show, like there's no red flags. There's no smoking gun. There's nothing that would justify them.
The reason why they said that they had to kill him is because, oh, you want to show us how the castle works, because remember how Dracula said that his castle is a traveling mechanism or whatever due to the magical object mumbo jumbo that he used to transport the castle from one location to another, but Cypher destroyed it. That was the reason why they killed him. But even though Alucard said it doesn't work numerous times, and it's like,
and even then, you guys literally didn't know what technology was a few weeks ago. You guys didn't know what technology was. What use do you have for it? Even if you did look at it, what are you gonna do with it? It's a machine. You have no idea how it works. Alucard probably doesn't even know how it works.
No.
So I'm like, what would be the point of it? What would be the point? How would moving the castle even be, useful to you in this situation? Like nothing. Like they're trying to like put this up like, oh, you didn't trust us enough to teach us magic, and I'm like, hasn't he been teaching you magic? Like he's been teaching you combat first, but so far you haven't like asked him to teach you magic. And even if he did, like, wouldn't that take time? Mm-hmm. Like it just came off as like they were desperately trying to make them seem like they were trying really, really hard to justify them trying to kill Alucard, But even the writers couldn't think of a solid reason because Alucard was just too freaking honest and too nice of a guy.
Hmm.
Then they had to keep his character consistent. So instead of actually doing something smart or clever or finding some kind of middle ground to it, they decided, bam, they're evil and crazy now. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they're evil and crazy now. And they don't want to listen to what Alucard has to say or what he has to do because reasons. It's an unnecessary twist to get Alucard to kill some humans in order for him to justify trying to be like Dracula. Even though, again, like I said, that's actually a really cool idea. It's just not handled well. It's handled very poorly. It's just not handled well at all. It felt like you threw that in just for the sake of it. So like it's like it's like it's like saying um I don't, Salem.
Yeah.
I don't want to use this comparison, but I might have to use this comparison. I'm gonna use this comparison. I'm gonna use it. Okay. It's kind of like saying that Luke killed tried to kill Kylo in his sleep because it makes perfect sense because he's human. And
Mm.
it makes perfect sense that Luke would try to kill Kylo in his sleep because he's human. And that's something that human beings do. They make bad decisions. Forget narrative context. He just had to kill him. They just had to kill him. It doesn't make any sense, but they had to kill him. They just had to. And they try to wave it off with, "Oh, well, we thought vampires were nice before, but even though you show no red flags, and we even openly admit you don't have any real red flags, we're still gonna kill you anyway." It's just not handled well, in my opinion.
No, I have to agree with Slim on that one.
Mr. Beta Cat says he's about to say it.
Say what?
Say
I
what?
don't know.
Come on, say it. Come on, just
Say
say
it.
it. Spit it out.
Come on.
We're waiting.
Well, we're waiting.
And I can understand where Slim is coming from. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not trying to like force this down people's throats. I'm just like this doesn't make any sense. Why would you do this? None of this makes any sense. It feels and
Did it
I
for
hate it
shock
when
value.
yeah, they did it for shock value, obviously. All the sex scenes were unnecessary. I don't have a problem with sex scenes. Guys, you two know me. Out of the three of us, who's most likely who's most likely gonna look that up after this stream? Who's the
You.
most likely gonna look this up after the stream? Look up those specific sex scenes after the stream.
Oh, definitely you.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't. But that's not my point. My point is that it was pointless and didn't make any sense, and it came out of nowhere. And it felt like they were using it more as they were using they were using the characters as tools rather than have them be characters.
Oh yeah, like when it came to Hector and Lenore. When it came to their scene.
Yeah, when it came to Hector and Lenore, I
Well,
don't here's like how I rank here's how I'm ranking the four plots of season three, so I can get it off my chest, and in case my phone dies before the stream ends, because I'm at 45%. But let me
Hmm.
just get something off my chest. If I had to rank him, I'd say Isaacs is the best, even though his even though at the end of the day his arc is kind of aimless near the end. Um, I think like his is still like the best, like objective. Like everyone agrees it's the best part of the season.
Hmm.
Everyone can agree that Isaacs is the best part of the season.
Oh yeah,
I
most of.
liked it. I liked it. Everyone liked it. Best part of the season. I
Hmm.
would say that Trevor and Sypha's. I don't like any of the other three plots, but I'd say that Trevor and Sypha is the one I dislike the least. But it's mostly because a big portion of it is them doing nothing, and
Well, you
then
can
we
also
get
say sort of repeated season one, kind of, for
yeah,
when.
here's like we talked about Alucard. Can we talk about Trevor and Sypha stuff now? Just talk about that.
Yes, I rather talk about that. They talk about Alucard.
Yeah, because yeah, the more I think about Alucard stuff, the more it depresses me.
Yes, yes,
Because
it does.
it had potential to be interesting, but they just flushed it down the toilet. Um, Salem, you got anything else to say about Alucard's arc?
No, just probably the weakest of the bunch.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's something we can all agree on. It's definitely the weakest. It's definitely the weakest.
I absolutely did. I absolutely dug the way it ended though, with showing that he can't outrun some of the influence of his father, and he's going to have to either confront that or it's going to eat him up, and he's going to become the thing that he put so much effort into destroy. So it's going to be
Mm,
interesting going forth in the series.
would be
What?
sort of interesting of doing it like a Darth Vader situation for kind of for where he accidentally became the monster he swore to destroy, and then the people he once considered his friends have to defeat him, and maybe if Cypher and Trevor, just making a speculation here, but if Cypher and Trevor die, then a new generation of possibly of new vampire hunters exist. But like I said, I'm just speculating.
Here's the thing. I like the idea of what they were going towards. Like I'm with Salem on the whole. I like what they set up. I like the idea. I just don't like the execution. I think the execution was terrible.
Oh,
Is
was it?
that is Salem? Is that like the best way we can like find middle ground on that? Like we can agree that the
I
execution.
would say, yeah.
Yeah, like I like the idea of Trevor slowly devolving into his father. I just don't think it was
Alucard.
handled very well. I mean, yeah, Alucard. My bad. I don't. I think like I like the idea of Alucard slowly devolving into becoming a recluse like his father for different reasons, but I
It was
don't
just
think it was
sloppy.
handled. Yeah, it was terrible. I did not like the execution at all, and it really did sour like the character moving forward, knowing how it came to be, because there was so much potential you could have done with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. That's just me.
All right, let's talk about the Belmont and Cypher.
Okay, okay. Let me talk about my biggest problem with this. My biggest problem is that how do I do that? First of all, um, Trevor and Sypha a don't really do anything for them until like halfway through the season. They don't do anything.
Yeah, you can say like around what season, episode 4 or 5, they
Yeah,
started
and I'm
just
just
doing stuff. Once
it's
the judge is like, "Oh hey,
it's
you help me, you get rent free." It's like, seriously?
I'm like here's the thing like you think like like, oh well, Cult of Dracula. We should definitely look into that. That should be your top priority coming into a town, and the town, and it's like a cult that worships Dracula, and they kind of treat it very nonchalantly, and I'm just like, you're joking, right? They
Heck,
just introduce themselves as a cult dedicated to Dracula.
and
The
no one's
guy,
eyebrow.
the guy who's literally feared more than Satan himself. The guy that you helped kill, and like, to quote Timon from The Lion King, everyone's just okay with that. Everyone's just cool with that. Okay. And I'm just like, you guys do nothing but sit and do nothing. I'm like, okay, why aren't you doing anything about it? And they're like, I don't know, we're just not doing anything about it. We just don't care. And then the judge finally like says, hey guys, can you investigate this for me? And I'm like, okay, we're finally doing something. But no, they're still not doing anything
It's
until
like,
around.
why didn't the judge ask him, like, just as soon they brought the creature in, whether or not he figured out if Trevor was a Belmont or not? It's like, oh, hey, these people know how to kill a night creature. So it's like, maybe I should ask them to, hey, go investigate the cult that worships Dracula.
Even then, take into account that um
Well, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. What wasn't the thing they worshipped kind of vague? Didn't the townsfolk not know that they were worshiping Dracula?
no,
They said
they
it, like,
straight
out
up
in the
they
open.
straight up told them. They straight up told them as soon as they got in the village, hey, we worship Dracula. They said it outright. They didn't even hesitate.
And also, to add on to that, for when Saint Germain entered into that church to do the supposed research, doing quotations here, of the research, he even stated of supposedly saying he knows the way of how to bring back Dracula from the underworld, but even they said out in the open, oh hey, we praise our Lord and Savior Dracula Tepish.
And yeah, so like, it's not like they're hiding it. Everyone knows about it. I just don't. No one seems to give a shit. No one gives a shit. Like you say, like, nobody cares that Dracula's dead in this world, and nobody cares that people are worshiping him. And you think that, and before people say, oh well, Dracula. Well, you see, Sypha and Trevor didn't have the proper stuff to go in there and do anything about it. I'm like, bitch, are we forgetting season one where where Trevor snuck into like ancient ruins and shit? He snuck into like the churches and shit, and he did not care.
And also when he snuck into a sewer to get inside a city to get a piece of lamb.
Yeah, I mean, like they have no trouble sneaking into places
exactly
to figure out what's going on. And even if they
ever couldn't honestly find a way to sneak in while Sypha becomes the distraction for the cult of Dracula, that seems a little bit idiotic.
And even then, think about this for a second. Even then, the judge says they have amnesty. So it's not even like he's ordering them to do this on behalf of the church or whatever he serves. They could literally bust in there, figure out what's going on, walk down the steps, see the giant fucking demon that's literally right down the fucking steps.
It nailed to a cross, which that was weird.
And like there's no reason for this. There's no reason for this. They wanted to draw this out and they didn't know how to do it. They wanted to draw it out. They had no idea how to do it. And I don't even and here's what I don't even think that and for like the majority of their arc, Trevor and Cypher don't really do anything till like the last few episodes. It's mostly just Saint Germain doing it for his own reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's mostly what's going on. And I'm like, the fuck is this guy?
Wait,
such-
Slam, hold on. We're forgetting the most important thing for what Cypher and Trevor did. Cypher got pissed off because Trevor said that beer was better than sex.
that was hilarious. That was great. I love that part. That was funny.
That was funny. I couldn't help but just feel like, why does this sound like what Sailor would say if he was a monster hunter and he would
He'd be like, yeah.
Oh no, I loved what Trevor said before that though. When he's like, "How much for a beer?" He goes, "You killed that thing, you get one for free."
I
I
love
love you.
That was great. I love that. Like here's the thing.
That was a nice small bit.
Here's the thing about Trevor and Cypher's relationship. A lot of people liked it, and I'm gonna admit, like how I did like a little mini rant on Twitter. I gave my opinions on it. I admit I was being a little harsh about this, saying like how it like kind of exaggerates the character. I still stand by it, but it's not as bad as I initially thought because I rewatched it recently, and it's not as bad. In fact, there are parts of it I really did like.
It's better than Twilight.
It's better than Raylo. That's what I'm gonna be using now from now on. It's better than Raylo. That's my new go-to phrase now. Twilight
For once,
Twilight
the sequel
still
trilogy
sucks.
gave us something to make fun of.
The Star Wars sequel trilogy will become the new Twilight. I guarantee you. Give it give it another year, and everyone will make fun of it. I guarantee you. Give it another year or two, and everyone will be making fun of it for how bad it is.
Oh yeah, but anyway, let's get back to Castlevania.
Yeah. Of course.
Jay Slim, stop getting us off track.
Sorry. The thing about it is like, I liked it better. I think the relationship worked better in seasons 1 and 2, where it was implied they had where it was implied there was like there was implied romance there.
Because
they had more chemistry. What did I say?
I was going to say, but didn't it seem a little bit odd that Sci-Fi took way too much pleasure in killing the monsters for when they were just riding their wagon on the way to the village? Because it's like, I can picture Trevor having too much fun with this, but Sci-Fi, it's like, girl, I like you. You are my favorite waifu, but please, don't get all crazy psychotic.
No, it's not even that. It's like the overly poppy, manic pixie dream girl thing, and I still stand by that. I think their overall personalities were over exaggerated in this season, because I remember in previous seasons, Trevor wasn't just a big dumb brute. Trevor was actually extremely intelligent.
And
he was fairly intelligent. He was very clever. He was fairly intelligent. He didn't just go around punching stuff. He was more than just a muscle. He was the actual experienced monster hunter.
Yeah, you could have to say season 3 he was more of the brute / muscle for hire than being the intelligent monster hunter that he and his family have been for how many years.
Yeah, like it really was weird. And then like you had Sypha, who was like super excited about it, to the point where I think she was kind of like I know this may sound weird, but it kind of okay. It seemed like she was kind of getting off to it. I don't mean to make it sound weird, but it felt
Mhm.
like they were trying to make it feel like she was getting off to this.
Hmm.
I don't take that how you will.
I don't know.
Can you
Really,
can you repeat that bit? I guess I must have missed what you were getting at.
He was
it
saying that Cypher was getting off getting pleasure of killing the monsters much more so in this season than combined of both season 1 and 2.
like when she killed a monster in 1 or 2, she was like, "Yes, got him." Now she's like, "Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah,
Like she was
yeah,
eternal from when you kill the
yeah."
giant
Well,
hunter.
she is kind of out on her own for her first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that,
We
but
get
it's like
that, but it was just like,
it's just
please don't
uh,
make it psychotic.
not even psychotic. Just again, like she was so somewhat mellow. She was a mellow free spirit who was very plucky. That was her character in the first 2 seasons. Now
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of over the top. Yeah, I can do we can do anything we want and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Um, that seems like an exaggeration of what you were in the first and second season.
If anything, kind of felt like she was becoming much more the experienced monster hunter than what Trevor was.
Yeah, and Trevor's just the muscle.
I also have to say I kind of like this idea that Mr. Beta Cat has. I interpreted the Sypha enjoying killing as an aspect of becoming the person she loved the most.
But Trevor
Yeah,
doesn't like killing monsters. It's just something he's good at. He's like Wolverine. He
I
doesn't.
think
He
I think he's getting at the point that Trevor has has a certain attitude towards it because he always cracks jokes or acts very playful while he's doing it.
until
Unless
I
it's unless
yeah
it's, a life or death situation.
mm-hmm.
yeah. It's definitely interesting. I think that like I said, if I think like here's how I put it. Like I think they have more chemistry in the first 2 seasons than they do in season 3 because in season 3 they keep trying to push them as a couple, and I'm just like they worked better when their characters were more nuanced and downplayed in the first 2 seasons, and it felt more genuine. If that makes any sense.
No, that does make sense because season 3 they could have just, oh hey, they could have been, F buddy, best friends with benefits
Yeah, like
in
I was
season
think
3, but then towards to the end, that's when it comes to the twist, how much they realize how much they need each other to
like
improve the world of getting rid of monsters, not only of the night creatures, but also of the disgusting humans.
here's the thing. Like a great example of this would be um like Toho and Toho and Toho and oh my god, I forgot his name. I think his name's Houston. If you guys have ever seen like Erika 7,
Nope.
well, it's basically like they're like mercenaries and like a resistance group, and the main captain, right?
Mm-hmm.
His second in command is also his girlfriend. But
Hmm.
like the thing about it is like um he's very emotionally distant, and one of the and like a really cool scene I liked from from the anime is when um you know basically they just got done doing the deed, right, and it's the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and you and the previous episode showed that he actually cared a great deal about her and got her a really good gift, and showed basically basically showed that he does genuinely love her, care about her, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the next episode, she's they clearly got done doing the deed. Um, and he's sleeping on the little couch in her room instead of like being in the bed with her,
Hmm.
showing that he's still very much, while he does feel, while they are, fucking basically, um, he's still clearly emotionally distant. And while he does care about her, the last episode proved it. He clearly has a long way to go. I think if they went that route with Trevor, and they did hint at it too. Like he's like, "Oh, Trevor, you're basically been emotionally stunted pretty much your entire adult life. Now I'm dealing with Sypha, a woman that I'm having these new emotions about." And I'm thinking, if you went that route with Trevor, showing that he's finally opening up emotionally to this person for the first time in his life, and yeah, they are having sex, and but again, you can be more subtle about it, because this one's just constantly beating you over the head, like, hey, they're a couple now, hey, they're a couple now, hey, they're a couple now, that I mentioned they're a couple.
Oh
and
yeah,
they could
it felt
and
like
they
a
could,
Hallmark special.
and they bashed it over the head. And I'm like, if you were more subtle with it, like, you know, and I know this is a trope that a lot of people don't like, but I actually think like the whole, sexual tension thing where they don't actually address the issue, right? I think that would have worked here, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that can work. You see like a lot of tension between them, and it comes from the fact that while they do have sex, they they are very physical with each other, but Sypha sees it as much more, and Trevor does too, but he doesn't want to emotionally open up and kind of build on that idea of seasons 1 and 2, and keep their characters more downplayed instead of exaggerating them to borderline B cartoons. Like I said, big dumb brute and magical and like an over the top, demon slayer girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they kept that, it would have been a lot more interesting to see their relationship unfold.
I mean, I'm not discounting anything you say. I I guess it didn't. Their relationship didn't contribute very much in terms of like how I thought of everything overall. And the thing was, I just kind of interpreted it as something that had developed that we did not see
Yeah,
during the gap between
the month.
the second season
Yeah.
and this
Uh,
season.
of course, that's to be expected from a time skip. I'm not asking for every detail, and stuff like that. I'm just like saying you teased it. You teased it with a genuinely good line of dialogue, and a genuinely really good moment from Trevor, where he admits that
Cypher.
he's not emotionally stable to even consider a relationship with a woman. But then like you barely bring it up once, and then you never bring it up again. I'm like, there's a lot of potential for development there. But it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're going, yeah, you know just something interesting that we're not going to touch upon.
Oh yeah, like with the Saint Germain thing.
I'm
Oh,
I'm sorry, but yeah, let's talk about that. Saint
hey,
Germain
I was.
was like my biggest problem with this is Saint Germain, because at the end of the day, Saint Germain is literally a character who I think completely took over the plot. By the way, but not only that, I don't know who he is. I don't know what he wants. I don't know why he wants it. I know nothing about this character yet. He's basically the main character for almost the entire arc.
It seems that the show wants to do something with him in the future, and they're just planting the seed here.
Yeah, I get that, and that's fine. But
But
like,
this is another example of them throwing a lot at people, and it's a lot to ask for people to take in.
Yeah, because when they announced season 3 and they start doing the characters who would start showing up, and when they mentioned Saint Germain, he in the Castlevania timeline, he is meant to be of a time traveler, to where that's how he gathers up the numerous heroes and villains, and they created the Mortal Kombat style of Castlevania. So I thought, oh, maybe he's has his own agenda of traveling back to possibly maybe save Dracula. I don't know. That was just my speculation. Or possibly finding out of how to stop the vampire menace from even starting to go like way back in the day. But it was like,
I mean, like he openly admits that it's not that yeah, bring oh, you're doing all this just to bring Dracula back? And he's like, boring, and then he like goes somewhere else, and I'm like, the fuck just happened? Like, so he's planning something bigger than bringing back Dracula. Okay,
yeah. And also, did they ever explain of who it was that got trapped in the alternate dimension or whatever that he's been
no, they
for how
don't.
many years?
They don't explain anything. That's my fucking point. That's my problem. They don't explain anything about this character. And again, I don't know anything about Castlevania. Like I don't know the deep lore. So this is coming from somebody who doesn't like have any expectations, but at the same time, you're it's your job as an adaptation to explain it to me.
Yeah, and
And
I
I
only
have no idea who this guy is, and I have no idea why he took over the plot, and I have no idea why he's important. And not only that, they admitted at one point that they're not following the games anymore anyway.
yeah,
They're
I knew
doing
they
their own
weren't gonna
thing
follow
now.
the games anyway, especially since Dracula said, "Oh, I'm killing my boy." It's like, well, to be fair, in the games he was killing his boy anyway, and
I
but
mean, like,
it's
I'm just,
just
I'm just, I'm just like, I don't mind doing something different or doing it differently. Like I said, I don't really have a stance from a Dracula, you know,
You roboted a little bit
you
there, Slim. Can
roboted
you
there.
repeat what you said?
like I said, I don't have any like personal stake in this because again, I'm not like deep into the games. But like, I'm just like, you can't. Like, here's the thing. Um, sorry, I might have to do something. My fan's acting weird. I gotta do something about that. Anyway, um, it's like if you show, it's like I hate it when stories tell me there is more rather than just explain what you have now.
Hmm.
Don't go saying, well, we have this coming, this coming, this coming, this coming. I'm like, explain what's going on first, please. That's what I want to know.
If
What's
any,
going on?
and if anything, if you took Saint Germain out and had Trevor sneaking into the church for where he discovered the creature that was mentioned from the first episode, it would have not made that big of a difference.
It really wouldn't have.
Because
There's,
seriously, all we did was say Saint Germain talk about alchemy symbols and all that stuff, but it's like, well, Cypher already should know that stuff due to her magical abilities as a speaker, seeing as how she's practically, both her and Trevor are practically walking spell walking bodies of knowledge. So it's like, shouldn't you people already know this instead of having some random guy who looks like he should be in Venice, Italy,
I mean,
tell you this stuff?
to be fair, Sypha and Trevor both knew what like the whole time portal thing was. They weren't completely ignorant. It's that
Hmm.
they literally did nothing. Jermaine did nothing. It was literally him constantly trying to go down the stairs and being stopped by the one guy who doesn't blink. And then he's like, "Oh, guess I'm coming back up here to look at the books again." That's literally half the season. That's half the season of what's happening. I'm not even exaggerating. That's what they do for half the season. He's just constant. It's like your parents telling you to go back upstairs during Christmas. Oh, I want to go downstairs to see Santa. No, go back to your room, young man. Satan isn't coming tonight. Go upstairs now. Go back up there now. I'm just like that's what it is. Salem. Look, tell me that's not what happens. Like for most of it, he's just trying to sneak downstairs, and the fish-eyed guy just keeps catching him before he gets down there. That's what happens half the time.
Um, I wouldn't say it's half the season. I only think that's just maybe a few scenes.
I mean, like here's the thing. They get there. They they say they worship Dracula. Trevor and Sypha knew nothing until around the fourth or fifth episode when the judge asked them to investigate. For some reason, they don't break in, even though they should have no trouble doing it. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Are you
They
still
should have.
talking? I couldn't
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's me. I'm just looking at something. I'm not sure if this is smoke or if this is dust coming from my fan. I think it's just dust. Yeah, I think it's just dust. I gotta clean out my vents. Anyway, when we get down to it, Trevor and Sypha are for some reason don't break in. They say they can't for some stupid reason, even though they broke into churches and stuff before, so it doesn't make any sense. Saint Germain is there, and he just keeps trying to go downstairs, but they won't let him go downstairs. Um, he goes to Trevor and Sypha and tells him what he wants. He literally doesn't explain why he wants it. He just wants to get the portal open, and they finally do confront everyone about it. They finally have a big showdown, even though Trevor and Sypha could have literally annihilated all of them within a matter of minutes,
Hmm.
all things considering. But whatever. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore that. Um, they don't think that it's a smart idea to evacuate the town, which ends up getting them all getting the entire town killed
Hmm.
for nothing more than the sake of shock value. Um, and then they fight some demons that are super strong, I guess. And then they close the portal, hinting that oh well, Dracula's somewhere and he's still alive with his wife. And then like when they after they tease that, Saint Germain's like, forget that, guys. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna close this portal or whatever, and that's the end of this. And that's the end of it. Oh, and the judge is also a kitty serial killer for no reason whatsoever, other than the
Okay,
fact that
before we discuss about the judge, let's talk about that little Lisa thing for a moment.
Lisa thing.
Yeah, for when we saw Dracula in hell, and he's holding on to
Oh,
Lisa.
oh yeah. I
Yeah, that
Okay,
that
when that
was
when that
okay.
happened, I was so excited. I was hoping they would bring I was hoping they were going to win because, like I said, one of my problems that I had with season 2 was I was really nervous moving forward how they were going to do without Dracula. And even though they did way better than I expected them to, it still feels like a big chunk of it is missing without Dracula there.
Mm-hmm.
And just the mere sight of him got me all excited that they were gonna. I was hoping that they were gonna be bringing him back.
I mean, we all knew he was coming back. Like, isn't that like a Isn't that like a staple of the series? Like, he always comes back.
Well,
Yeah, but
to be fair, they said that they're going their own direction though. So who knows?
true. But also though, I'm just saying. But also though, from the games, at least for the Nintendo DS, there were at least 2 games for when Alucard was the last one still alive, and he's in Japan training his own monster hunters. Dracula does come back, but he becomes a hero and he uses his dark powers to save humanity and all that stuff. So I don't know what that's going to lead to. But the reason why I'm saying about this is because when some YouTube channels were posting the clips of Dracula and Lisa holding on to each other in hell, some YouTubers and I were like, wait, is this an illusion or did Lisa end up in hell? And it's like, well, if Lisa ends up in hell, sheesh, God of this universe is a dick. When you honestly,
Well, she was a witch, don't you know?
I mean,
but
like,
I know, but it was like she made Dracula tolerate humanity up until her untimely death, and it's like, sheesh, God, I think you could give her a pass for marrying a guy who literally impaled people on sticks for a hobby.
I mean, like, it could be possible that A, it might not be hell, it might be limbo, and B, it or something like that, or B, and I think this is something that I think would be interesting, is that she chose to go to hell. She chose to go to hell because she loved him so much, and she would rather be with Dracula than be in eternal paradise. Because Dracula is her eternal paradise. Or it could be an illusion. Who knows? Like maybe Dracula's biggest like they say in hell you just live the worst moments of your life over.
Been, yeah.
Yeah. So and maybe like the tragedy of him never being with his wife again, something like that. Either way, it's definitely interesting to see Lisa in hell.
Yeah,
and might I just say, when we get Dracula back, please, can we have him kill more priests who deserve it? Because that's something I miss. That's something I really miss about that I didn't get a lot of in season 3. In seasons 1 and 2, you sure do get the satisfaction of seeing some of the people who deserve it the most get what's coming to them.
Season three. The reason, like I said, the reason that season 3 doesn't work for me is because they just made them bad guy. It was all for shock. It really didn't feel like it was built up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like, bam, this guy was an asshole. Bam, this guy's crazy. Bam, this guy's an asshole. And I'm just like, it doesn't feel like this was a thing that was earned.
Well, I feel like that for the the reveal that the guy was the serial killer. But other than that, I wouldn't apply that.
Still though, it's like, what good purpose besides shock value did you have to make the judge into a child killer? It's like
no. That's what I was saying. I'm saying that I think you can. I think that was just shock value.
Yeah, like that was the one I was looking at. That I'm like, what was the? It wasn't even that he was like it wasn't even like he was a kitty diddler or anything like that. It was that he was literally just killing kids for the hell of it.
Yeah, because it's like, why couldn't you just?
Hey, running in your town is a major crime.
Oh God.
Which,
And
by the way, this show, he had the most appropriate quote for our coronavirus society right now.
Oh God,
what
you're
the
gonna
hell
get
is toilet
Oh
paper?
God, you
No,
probably
it was,
get a strike
what the
for this.
fuck is toilet paper?
That was great. That was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Um,
But I actually did like the judge. Sure, you didn't
I
know his
liked him
name, but
too.
he seemed like a good, strong leader that actually knew for what he was doing. Especially for when he told the story of how he and the townsfolk dealt with that one night creature by putting human feces and salt on their weapons to hurt the creature for not only because salt hurts them, but also though human feces is very deadly for when you put up against a wound, and that could kill depending upon where you put it at. So
And
yeah,
and that's the thing too, is like he was my favorite character, with the exception of Isaac, during that season until they pulled that little stunt with him at the end of the season, and I'm like,
same
oh,
here. Same here.
I mean,
It's like,
so
yeah,
he's.
why do that? There's no reason for it. Like,
And I mean,
is
like
it?
he even had like his death in the end. It's like it was a heroic death. You know,
Yeah,
it had
yeah,
gravity to it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then when
But
they show that, it's like the thing is, maybe if they had done the reveal a little better and had hinted there was something off about the guy the entire time,
like I
that
said,
maybe
good.
it would have made for a better payoff. But like when he just ripped the band-aid off like that, it just my reaction, instead of like, oh my god, he's such a horrible person, it's like my reaction was,
what
oh,
the heck?
okay.
Like I said, good
I
foreshadowing
guess
and bad.
that's a thing.
Like I said, good foreshadowing and bad foreshadowing. This was bad foreshadowing. They tried to do it with Trevor looking back and saying, "Oh well, a kid goes missing here and it's big news." That doesn't the more I think about it, that makes even less sense why you'd be a serial killer because you're in a smaller town.
Yeah, and also he was the reason why I thought the reason why the judge was strict with the kid, because I thought it was an off-screen thing that he was once a father figure that, but when Dracula first unleashed the hordes of his army, it was like once they were attacked, he lost his child. So the reason why he's being strict, especially towards two children, is so that way a parent never had to bury their child again.
Yeah, like I legit liked the judge. He was a really cool character. I
Yeah,
really liked him. I thought if they like made him a permanent part of the cast, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. He's
but
awesome.
no,
He's
they had to
cool.
make him a child kid like that. It's like just for shock value. It's like no, 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 no. You guys could have just gave him a heroic death, end it, and it would have been just fine. Because I liked we all liked the judge. He was possibly our favorite
Hey,
character.
hey guys. Do you like the judge?
Yes,
Do,
up until
do
that
you like
shock
the judge?
value crap.
Well. He's a child killer now, and you should feel bad. Grim dark.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they pulled. It was nothing more than shock value. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, that was
I
dumb.
will say though, that did catch me off guard when he told the one dude about the tree, and he ended up falling onto little stakes. I will give the show that I was not expecting it.
Oh, neither did I. But that's where.
Oh yeah,
That's where I was oh, you go.
because
Slim.
as we all know, subverting expectations is all that matters.
Well,
Well,
there
the
was
thing was, I was hoping there was going to be an explanation for that. Like maybe he had dug it there before all that went down, and he was anticipating that he was going to be telling that exact that person at the end of all this that. But I suppose not. It's just, he's a child killer for an unspecified reason.
But also, though,
I mean, like,
maybe the trap was set off for possibly if he ever ran into the night creature that, oh, hey, I'm almost dying after fighting this creature. I'll take this fucker with me as I try to go kill myself from the spikes that I have hidden in this ground. Boom.
yeah,
you like-
that's basically what he did. He said, "I want to stab the motherfucker in hell all over again." I'm like, okay, but why are you going to
I
hell?
thought he was a pit. That was before that's because I figured, oh, he's a parent who lost his kid to a night creature, and this night creature is possibly still out there. And so, oh, so the spikes were to be a trap for the thing that killed his child. Nope. Child killer.
All right.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be abrupt here, but we are coming up on the 2 hour mark. So
Oh,
let's get to the other two arcs because we still got to cover Camilla and her
Let's see if
group's
Isaac's
arc,
one-
and then we also have to cover the best arc, which is Isaac's arc.
We'll save Isaac for last. Okay, I want to talk about Carmilla's. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Her
Hey,
plan?
Slim, you okay with that, by the way?
yeah. Let's just get this over with.
Her plan is completely stupid. Because
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
honestly think about it, look, I guess she wants to control the humans into a sort of pig pen sort of area. But how is she going to be able to do that for when, one, she needs to make sure that the humans are well fed, cleaned, and all that stuff. I know that vampires are highly regarded to be far superior in the Castlevania universe, but you still got to make sure they're well taken care of, well fed.
Your
But also-
Transylvanian accent offends me.
Oh, quiet. Anyway, where was I?
We are far superior.
Okay, but oh yeah, superior. That she that yes, she can have the humans breed and all that stuff, but if she was going to go the path of mistreating them, humans are smart that they can either have them get starved to death or kill each other, or once they have hacked to make the new night creatures, they could just have death by suicide by getting killed by the night creature. Boom, plan failed.
And actually, the more I think about it, the reason that I don't think her plan makes very much sense is, what's wrong with the system you have now? Like, in fact, the more I think about it, wouldn't it make more sense for you guys to focus on killing all the night creatures to make sure that they don't,
Kill all the humans.
yeah, kill all the humans
they
so
are
you
the
don't have
source
any
that keeps you
food?
alive.
Yeah, wouldn't that
Yeah.
make more sense?
I
And
don't
even
know. Let's ask Salem. Salem, if you were a vampire in Transylvania, would you rather A, kill the night creatures that are killing the only source of food that you have, or B, make a pig pen for humankind?
It would probably have to depend on how it's going on in the region. Like, are the night creatures far out in that part of the region? Was that ever even established? Because if they're talking about just their region and there's no night creatures there, then it makes sense for them to round up people. But if there are night creatures there, then yeah, they should focus on getting rid of them.
yeah, and even then, like, you guys don't seem to have any trouble getting blood from simply just getting a bunch of humans and draining them and then moving on to like
Now I don't remember this exactly, so I might be remembering incorrectly, but I can't remember if I think one of them said that it wasn't necessarily easy to always have a steady supply of blood, because I thought that like she made a comment or something like when they were going through like that wine display
did,
case.
Yeah, but that's why it's like, though, when I just kidnap a few humans, put them in your castle, put them to work, and then you can be like, okay, we'll decide, okay, you guys are going to breed for this amount of time, you guys are going to breed this amount of time, then
but here's the thing, like, human breeding isn't necessarily ordeal because
Mhm.
human breeding would take a while, and it would just
Definitely.
be it would be easier just to, oh, I need blood, go down to a human village, slaughter a couple of people, get their blood, and then
But here's something to consider with a steady income via the cattling process. You won't have to worry about angering the villagers to come and attack you, because
yeah,
if
but
they start noticing that a certain individual keeps coming down to the village and then your villagers are missing, doesn't take long to put two and two together. And plus, this group seems to have some form of a reputation, so I'm pretty sure the villagers and such are already aware of them.
I'm just stating, like, either way, there's just so many variables that would make this more. That's just won't. They even say it in the show. It's a really stupid idea that they're desperately trying to make work. They don't even call Carmilla smart. They call her the dreamer. They don't call her the mastermind. They call her the dreamer.
Mhm.
That they even admit that she's not intelligent. The show
No,
is admitted,
they even say like the only thing that they benefit from her is her ruthlessness,
and I'm just like,
and
what?
ruthlessness does not equate problem solver.
Yeah. So
But
like,
sometimes, and this is just real life example here, but sometimes you do need the people that will be imaginate enough to create the ideas, and then it'll be the intellects who find a way to put it together.
yeah, I get that, but like, nothing about her idea makes any sense. And honest to God, there's probably, like they even say, there's a million different ways we could do this better. Like what you're asking us to do is inconceivably impractical, unbelievably contrived, stupid, and honest to God has a giant range of failure when there are many other options you could do that could probably work a lot better.
And plus, to add into
At
this,
the
oh,
at the very least, the more that you guys have gone on about this, and the more I've thought about it, this is one of the elements that they can really fix up and add more into and expand on a little more in the next season, because they'll be able to, perhaps there's some elements of the world that we haven't seen uh, that make this plan seem like a good idea,
And not
or
to,
make this idea come off as or at least have like the technicalities of it exposed in some of the world building that'll continue on in the next season. I'm
yeah,
just
but
saying, all I'm bringing up here is that it doesn't it's open ended enough where they could right the wrongs here, if that makes sense.
mhm.
I get that, but like, I don't, like I said, I don't like being told that there's potentially more than, actually explaining how. Like, because they even say we want to basically turn an entire region of people into a giant pit, into a giant pen, and that's a really dumb idea. That's a really, like, you want to turn an entire region into basically a giant breeding ground, and
Mhm.
there are so many pitfalls to that.
And also, here's the thing. And also,
Sorry, I just gotta say one more thing. Think about this: humans, breeding 9 months to conception. Um, not only do you gotta wait 9 months, I would say you'd have to wait until what, a child, like 12 to 14 for boys. Girls can start as early as 8. It's weird. I don't know why, but it's start as early as 8. Weird, I know, but hear me out. So you have to do that. Not only that, you'd have to understand that you'd have to give a steady supply of blood flowing as they get older, you have to make sure that they don't build up any resistance towards you, which is going to be hard because you're going to be stretched out so thin. It's just a really dumb idea. It's a really dumb idea. It doesn't make any sense.
And also, what the heck was she gonna use? And also, to add in of a plan of, oh, we're gonna make Hector obey me. It's like, lady, I'm even yet surprised your kitty cat Lenore was able to persuade him to boink him in the jail cell, but yet also
Because
gain her trust. It's like,
because Hector is an idiot. They
yes,
rewrote
very
Hector.
stupid.
They rewrote Hector as an idiot. In season 2, he wasn't my favorite character. I'm not gonna pretend he was like my favorite. Oh my god, my favorite character got ruined or whatever.
Oh no,
But
no.
but Hector was somewhat intelligent and made and had like if you asked Hector in season 2 why did you join Dracula, it's because he wants to see humanity put in its place. Now him and Isaac had different points of view. Isaac wanted to see complete annihilation. Hector kind of wanted to see a kind of a
Humanity.
compromise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but in season 3, when she asked him, "What do you want, Hector?" and he's like, "I don't know," and I'm just like, "We know your motivations in season 2, so why do you suddenly not know them?" He's like, "I don't
Well,
know."
to be fair, he probably that was one of the criticisms I didn't understand was Hector being held up in the cell and the interactions between him and the Lenore, I believe her name was.
Yes, her name was Lenore.
When
Yeah,
they're at like to me, it's like it's understandable how he is saying he doesn't know because if he tells them what he wants, he's got every reason to believe that he's not going to get what he requests.
yeah. I'm
I
just like,
so I just to me I read it as it's him being hesitant because he doesn't want to open up and really tell them what's going on in his head.
but
He
like,
should still be hesitant for when she's giving him food, clothes, and then the eventual having
Well,
sex.
he is hesitant at first, but
But I'm saying he should be
once he gets his ass whooping, he has no choice but to open up because if he shows any more restraint, he knows that he could be overpowered very easily.
yeah,
Hey,
that
if I
was
was Hector, I would have the choice of being dead and be like, hey, Carmilla, since you screwed me over, guess what, lady? I'm cutting my own throat. See you in hell.
yeah. I'm kind of in the same like, and then like here's the thing. They say like the main reason why he's not cooperating is because Carmilla treated him like garbage, and I'm just like, okay, fine, fair enough. But Lenore's treating herself like she's a legit negotiator, but in the end, she's not negotiating with them. She just made him her slave. That's not
Well,
she
well, it,
no she made him
from her
she
perspective,
no she
Hey,
made him no she tries to like hear me out. One of the reasons I don't this is one of my pet peeves. My biggest pet peeve when it comes to writing characters like this. Because she's supposed to be like this classic example of silk hiding steel. They try to make her like, oh, she's sweet and actually but she's actually really clever and dark. And it's like it's very much something you see a lot in teen fan fiction, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. They try to do this, but at the expense of making a character a complete moron in order to do so. So she doesn't come off as intelligent, it just makes that character come off as stupid, unbelievably stupid, for the sake of pushing. And she tries to say, oh, well, Dracula didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't know what he did, she just tried to say, Hector, I actually want to negotiate with you, and Dracula didn't know what he was talking about. But like, considering everything, it's kind of the opposite. But I don't think. But again, they didn't write Lenore clever enough for her to realize it. Because let me explain. Like she tries to say, "Oh well, Dracula was didn't promise you anything or do anything for you," and I'm like, "No, Dracula just simply convinced him to join his side. That's it. He didn't threaten Hector. He didn't call Hector out. He didn't do anything to Hector. He
He pretty
just
much was
simply
like, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
yeah, basically. He basically said, "Yeah, this guy, I want to put humanity in his place. Are you in?" And he's like, "Yeah, because I don't like humans. I don't like people." And that's what they did. He actually negotiated and complied with Hector. Now they kind of disagreed near the end, of course, but um, the thing about it is at the very end of the day, I'm trying to gather my words here. They ironically made Lenore everything she said that Dracula was. That he was just taking advantage of Hector, and that Hector was a tool by Dracula. And I'm like, no, that's what you did. You made him a literal slave. You said, "Hey,
But she was saying that to get
His trust.
yeah,
no,"
you
but
can't be taken you can't be taking her as trying to be truthful here.
I know that. I know that, but like the show tries to play it off as this is her being clever. This is her being like toying with his head because she actually is making a point. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not making a point. You
I don't
literally.
know. I
They're
don't know.
trying.
I didn't digest it that way. I didn't see it that way at
They're
all.
they're trying to basically they're trying to say she's like the super smart negotiator and the super tactical planner, and she's really smart and really intelligent, but in reality they just made Hector an idiot. That's basically my argument, and that's why I don't like Lenore and Hector in that season, because they deliberately made a character and that's one of my pet peeves, when you rewrite a character or when you have a character be completely out, but you have a character act completely different for the sake of plot. And I think that's what they did to Hector. Because Hector, in my opinion, is a completely different character in season three. And it's not like he changed over the course of, you know, a month
A
because
month.
he was marching or whatever. They literally just lowered his intelligence to make Lenore look smarter. That's my problem. Hector was somewhat competent in season two. He wasn't super smart, but he was somewhat competent. Season three made him a complete idiot.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem. That's why I didn't like it.
Not
I'm
sure
not
if I
saying
would call him. Not sure if I would call him an idiot. I think that he
Salem.
was more.
He's an idiot. Salem.
No,
He's an.
I don't think
I,
so.
I'm sorry.
I think he just kind of accepted the fact that there was no way out of his situation.
He could have. He like again like you don't if you didn't understand like first of all he attacks a vampire. He attacks a vampire with his bare hands.
And says, I'll snap your neck if you don't call off a help or whatever.
I'll tear your throat out if you don't get
Or
me out
something
of
like,
here.
yeah,
With
and it's
your
like,
and all you have is your nails. And you did that with a vampire. What part of that sounds like a smart idea, Salem?
Well, to be fair, you even had you did see both him and Isaac take on vampires in season 2.
You saw that, but like they had weapons and they clearly had they had weapons. And even then,
Thank you, Mr. Beta Cat.
what did he say? What did he say?
He said he says that he was just broken. It was literal Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, so he's saying that it's the male version of Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, well,
that's actually not a
even
bad way to put it. But what I agree with even more is Lenore could choke me.
Okay,
but like
Oh
I
god, that's
said,
funny.
like here's the thing with Belle, it was like the beast slowly opened up to her, and the whole point of Stockholm is like you slowly realize this person isn't who you think it is, and that's not really what I felt like happened here. She's very upfront about what she is and what she wants, but it's wrapped in this pretentious package of yeah, of this yeah, I'm actually smarter than Dracula. I have your best interests better than Dracula. But in reality, I like everything she uses to describe herself is actually a better description of Dracula, and the description of Dracula she has, which saying he was short-sighted and forced everyone to do what you wanted, was literally her. Like I said, he's just a slave with a nicer cage. And then you pull a Sun Wukong and have his ring on his finger in order to keep him in line. This isn't a compromise. You literally made him a slave.
And also, here's the thing. Who's to say that the next time he makes a night creature, who's to say of hey, night creature, cut off my finger, please.
Cut off your own damn hand. Problem solved.
And I know they said
okay. Serious question. Who's willing to cut off their hand right now?
If I was in a situation to where I was being held hostage by vampires, to which it was like, do as we say, or we kill you. It's like, okay, give me my hand.
I take that. Again, not even the hand, like the finger. That's it. That's all you really got to do. I can live without one finger. That's that's like some heavy rain type shit. Just to cut off one finger, and you can come up with an escape plan. And here's another thing. Here's another thing I want to talk about. Shouldn't like Hector be having an army of night creatures come after him to save him? If he created like half the night creatures roaming around the world and they only follow either Isaac or Hector's rules or law or orders, shouldn't there be some night creatures who should have came to save him in his month trek over there?
Yeah, because the creatures that we saw during the castle battle after Team Belmont wiped out the vampires, those were still on Isaac's command.
They were still loyal to Isaac. Yeah, they were still loyal to Isaac. So shouldn't he have like an army too?
Hector's monsters should be still roaming about, and it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, come to think of it, they should be out searching for their master. So it's like, where the bloody heck are they at?
And even then, like, because Hector made just as many night creatures as Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
So he should at least have somewhat of an army,
if not a small,
to help him out. So if his army found him, he found a way to cut off his finger, he would be pretty much at least be able to escape. I would take that over serving vampires. I really would. I would take that chance. Like I said, like this is literally a character. This is a character dumbed down for the sake of having another character seem smart, and I hate that in fiction. I hate that in writing. That's a pet peeve. I really hate that. I hate when a character is dumbed down for a character to seem smarter. I hate when a character is depowered for a character to seem stronger. It just doesn't work for me. I hate it.
All right. I suppose, seeing as how we're talking about the whole Carmilla thing, we should also talk about the two love vampires.
Oh, you mean the two lesbians who I literally can't think of their names.
I don't remember.
I can't think of their names. Like they
Neither.
were
I
literally.
I just remembered one reminded me of Shrek for some reason.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, why? Like every time they make those. I don't want to say those types of characters, but they always look like JoJo characters. They're always built like JoJo, and I wonder why they always build them like JoJo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know why.
Because they
It's
partially.
because we have layers.
hmm
um,
And I'm gonna be straight up and forward about this, but I think for when it came to the two lesbian vampires, even though some parts were cringy, I thought they were actually okay of
I
them
leg-
being lovers, because it's like we've dealt,
I
we've
don't.
heard the Last Jedi of the kid forced lesbian kiss thing, and then they edited out for the other regions, but it was like between the two female vampires and the two female lovers in the video game Days Gone, and a few other gay characters I read in some books I've read in the past 2 years, it was like at least they actually try to make those characters be
Characters.
regular people instead of just, oh hey, look at me, we're special.
Oh, you didn't hear what they said. We're not just going to be we're not just going to lead a vampire nation. We're going to be a vampire nation led by
You
You
roboted really
roboted out.
bad there.
Slim.
Who?
Oh crud. His phone went
Um.
out. Oh crud.
Oh. He.
No.
Oh, okay. We're
Okay,
good.
he's back.
I gotta get off real soon.
Okay.
Salem, do, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Um, can you like can you like go to Discord and DM me the link?
The link to.
The
This
stream.
because I don't want to I want to try to use my tablet instead because that has a mic on it,
Oh, okay.
and I don't want to and like there's this thing on and I don't there's this thing about Twitter that I don't want to use like my tablet or my computer for it because they're like linked to my old email account, my first email account,
Okay. No
and I
worries.
don't
No
want.
worries.
So can you do that for me real quick?
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. I'm gonna check that out. I still got some juice on this thing, and that'll get me through this because I am on 6% on my phone, and it's one of those days where my phone decides that it does not want to be sufficient right now. So I'm gonna sign out and Salem just send me the DM, okay?
Yeah, and when you get back, we'll begin on the best arc of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, let me send them the link. Let's see here.
Really wish they could bring
Slim.
Dracula back in hell.
There we go.
Carmilla. I miss Dracula.
Yeah, same. Same.
Still though, I really wish they did not do that tease.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, since I totally forgot to mention this, but for when it came to the monster fight between Cypher, Trevor, and the monsters coming out of the underworld pit, How did you feel about Cypher killing that creature that kind of looked like Cthulhu?
Oh, it's obviously a travesty. But actually, no, that's actually from one of the Castlevania games.
Oh, it when I saw the tentacle face, it was like, oh my god, Salem's gonna be pissed that Cypher killed a bastardized version of
Uh,
Cthulhu.
no. I mean, it's obviously inspired by Cthulhu, but no,
Mhm.
the the monster itself was in Castlevania games.
Well, I'll admit, I'm just a casual of the games because I played at least a few of the Game Boy games and the Super Nintendo for when I was over at neighbor's house because he had a few of those things. But my knowledge of that stuff is very limited, so I wouldn't even know that. Oh, hey, the tentacle monster is actually a monster from the game. So
Hmm. Yeah, actually, a bunch of the monsters at that final battle in season 3, most of those are straight from the Castlevania games.
well, I remember the one to where we had the pterodactyl-like creature with the spear from the second season was a creature from the games.
Yeah, the same thing with. Excuse me. Ugh.
Oh, you
Sorry about that. The thing with the a bunch of the demons that Isaac conjures up. Pretty much all of those are from the games as well.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. But you know the one that I'm still pissed off that we have gotten in these 3 seasons that we still haven't gotten?
Hmm.
Death. There has been no acknowledgement that Death is a character in any season. I am still annoyed with that. It's like, come on. You are honestly telling me you can't find a way to have the Grim Reaper himself to
Hey, but
appear.
you know that would be a good guy to bring in once Dracula comes back into the fold.
Yeah, but that's only if, a big if, they decide, oh, hey, maybe it's a good idea to bring Dracula back. But it's like, yeah, but how would that work out unless he becomes an obedient corpse to Carmilla, which is like, why are they possibly going to do that for season 4?
Oh, it'd be amazing if Carmilla is the one that brings him back, and she thinks that he's under her control the entire time, and then he pulls just a a 180 on her.
Does he?
It's like I is like actually I've been in charge the entire time. I just played along for the lols.
Yeah, but that's where I have concern of why she's also keeping Hector around, because it's like, well, if the night creatures don't work, what would be the one thing that could keep them in line? Dracula. Think about it. Even in an undead version, night creature version of the Lord of the Vampires could keep those monsters in line. And depending upon how well this whole controlling the monsters thing works, it's like, well, maybe they'll find some way to make Dracula Carmilla's bitch, which I really hope not.
I don't think that they would, because quite honestly, I mean, the fan base is pretty low, is pretty vocal, and not there aren't too many people who are very emotionally invested in Carmilla. Like,
But I thought it was just you, me, and possibly a small vocal minority.
no, there's quite a few people who just find her to be really shallow. I mean, the vampires she's with at her castle are all more interesting than her.
Well, yeah, and it's like, why couldn't they have like any of her sisters from her sorority be the one in charge, and she is just, oh, she's the deceiver of the group. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of saying, oh, she's the ruthless leader. I don't know. There's just heck. I'm even still debating about whether or not I want to be invested of seeing the fourth season. Seeing as how
Well,
like
I'm very excited, especially since they've hinted that it is possible in this universe that Dracula can return. So
true,
I've got to be around for that.
true, but then also it's like, well, how many demons did escape from the portal before Saint Germain closed it? Cause now since they introduced that, oh hey, we have winged demons existing, it's like, oh great, how long before Satan decides to show up?
This,
Because
well, that'd be nice.
yeah, until you remember, oh hey, Capcom made Dracula into a good guy and had him fight against Satan twice, both in human form and vampire form. I did not like that. Nope.
Which isn't a bad thing for your resume.
Yeah, but sometimes though, it's like if you create the monster, sometimes it's like if you have your villain to be the monster they are meant to be, have them be the monster. Don't have them saying that, oh, maybe there could. No, wait a minute, that'd be a bit hypocritical since Darth Vader had that happen. Mm, it's just that if you want to create a monster, do it. Don't have them say, oh, hey, maybe I should try start caring again.
Mr. Beta Cat. Yeah, I know. We know that in the games it's canon, but we were a little unsure as what would come up in the show because the creators said that they are going on their own in their very own direction with this.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
everything kind of feels up in the air.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because if we were on season 3, we would have had the, I don't know, 7th or 8th Belmont that's collecting Dracula's bones and resurrecting him. And I'm not lying about that part. Dracula gets brought back to life after Belmont collects his bones, puts them in a small little chamber pot, and go boogly boogly boo. Oh hey, Dracula's back. Ugh, I'm just probably too overanalyzing it on this. I need more whiskey. Why'd you have to make me get hooked up on writer's tears?
It's good, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. I wish I just didn't have to go to a long drive to get it.
How long is the drive?
About 45 minutes, which is a lot
Hmm.
better than the hour and 10 minutes from my house to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. That's a really cool old town, you know.
Eh, I only go down there for Barnes and Noble. I'm not lying about that part. And this
Well,
Irish.
I meant like it doesn't. Milwaukee is one of those cities that really feels like it's kind of in a time capsule almost.
It depends upon where you go to.
Very true.
Because I know for when I had went to my trip last year for the Bruce Campbell thing, it's that one part of the city was definitely felt like it was trapped in the 1920s, 1940s, especially for the Irish bar that I went to for lunch and dinner. And the pet in the theater to where they were hosting the event at. Just didn't like having a giant chandelier hanging over my head. Felt like that thing was gonna snap or something.
Come on, Slim.
Come on, Slim. I want to talk about Isaac. I want to talk about the
It's
good
like,
part.
yeah, it's And that arc made me want a spin-off of Isaac. His own spin-off series.
I'm still
It's like we didn't get Dracula, but you definitely see a lot of Dracula's influence living on through Isaac.
to which it makes me wonder though, since Alucard possibly may or may not follow in his father's footsteps due to the isolation, it's like, oh, will we get a monster battle between the son of Dracula versus the general of Dracula? Because if that happens, I'd be more than happy to see it.
Oh, I'd be happy to see Isaac fight anybody.
I just wanted him to kill Carmilla if that could happen.
I'm with you there. Now, I really want Carmilla gone.
Oh, you and me both. I'm still wondering why they don't make her one of Dracula's allies like in the games. I know when it comes to adaptation, you can change things, but it's like, why do that for when she's a villain and you could have her be a villain to resurrect Dracula later down the line? Ugh. Come on, Slim. Where are you?
Well, let's move on to something. Let's move on to a different conversation then.
Well,
So you were drinking the writer's tears. How are you drinking it?
well, pretty much the only way I can drink alcohol with soda. Can't drink alcohol straight, but except for that one time I just did.
Yeah, for writer's tears, I like to drink it completely straight, not even on the rocks.
Oh, I know.
It's such a good taste.
Well, my before the whole pandemic crap happened, my brother came over one time and I offered him a shot. He claims that it's not the best whiskey. It's like, well, that's because you drink too much of Jack Daniels, there, boy.
Not a fan of Jack at all.
Neither
I
am
mean,
I.
I like Jack to be mixed into other stuff, but I'm not even a fan of Jack and Coke, really.
I only drink a Jack and Coke for December 24th and the 28th for Lammy's birthday and also for his death day. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Like Jack Daniels, um, I I honestly feel like I'm going to be sick every time I have it, and it's got nothing to do with the amount that I drink. It's just something about. Like, I think it's the taste, but I could be wrong. But just something about Jack just makes me feel nauseous every time that I have it.
Well, I know for when I turned 21 and my family took me out to the bar, and when I tried Jack, it just tasted such, I don't know, how unsatisfying. And I was drinking the honey flavored version. It was like, well, that felt a terrible distaste in my mouth.
Oh, Honey Jack is actually a really, really good mixer. There's a drink that I really recommend called a Honey Badger, which is half Honey Jack and then half rum chata.
Honey Badger. Oh,
so yeah, it's half.
You people gotta stop. You people should not give me drink recipe ideas.
So yeah, it's half Honey Jack, half rum chata on ice. You just mix it up, and that's your drink.
Oh, great! This is gonna have to be one of those drinks I have to try this year, like making the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy drink. If I could.
And we have Slim back.
Oh, good.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you
Yes.
fine, brother. All right, let's talk about the good thing. Isaacs.
Okay, what did you guys, what were you guys talking about when I was gone?
Alcohol.
Ah, okay, of course. Okay, Isaac was easily the best part of season 3. Everyone agrees on that, correct?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You won't hear me arguing saying that it was the worst thing. If anything, that was like, okay, that was intense.
That was some of the best part of the entire series thus far.
Mm-hmm. But it does not beat Dracula summoning the night hordes against the people of Wallachia. That's still top billing.
For me, it's still like the fight scene at the end of season 2. I still think that was the most epic.
Oh, that's like second epic, but it was just like seeing all of those townspeople being in fear, knowing like, hey, this guy was generous. He gave you a year to clean out, and what do? You make fun of killing his wife. But when it came to Isaac, just try to be neutral and be like, hey, just please let me move on. I'm not gonna bother you. It's like, guys, listen for what he says.
Yeah, I do think that the guards are just fucking stupid. It's just why would you not just let him leave? Just let him go. He has an army of monsters. Why do this?
If anything, the monsters were like on their best behavior. They were like, "Oh, Daddy."
Yeah,
I mean,
it was the most pacified monstrosities and hellspawn you have ever seen.
It was like seriously. They were like,
I mean, it's
"Daddy,
like,
please, I want to kill the humans."
and I'm like, okay, maybe we might have mauled a toddler or two. Nobody's perfect. But other than that, they've been on their best behavior.
Oh, most definitely.
I'm just
Toddler had it
saying.
coming.
Yeah, a little kid would be a brat. You know something? I actually
Now when you think about it, that judge actually had the right idea.
the judge did nothing wrong.
Becoming a child killer.
Yeah. But like, like one of the best parts about it was actually all the side characters, like the little people he met along the way.
Oh, like
Yeah,
that
especially his well, there was two discussions I really loved that he had in that arc. The first was his talk with the ship captain,
The
whom
ship captain was
he
awesome.
never gives his name. He's just captain. and then I loved the interaction he had with the Athenian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the old woman.
No, the Athenian.
That's that fight creature that was talking to him at the campfire saying, "Oh, hey, I said I believe in God, and yet I died and was sent to hell for lying." Is that the right one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I call him, Baxter Stockman. I called him Baxter Stockman. I don't know why.
No, I actually can see the similarities. Except
I called him the Athenian because he says that he's from Athens.
I get that. I'm just like, yeah.
He was a philosopher from Athens.
Yeah, I get that, but like, I'm a bigger TMNT fan than I am a Castlevania fan. So I saw the opportunity and I went for it.
Well, this isn't Castlevania we're talking. This is history.
But here was the thing, though, for when it came to the captain. Is that so far in the 2 seasons, they didn't mention at all the character of Grant, who was a pirate. So it was like once they made the third season announcement that, oh hey, the captain, it's like, are they gonna make him Grant? Because it's like, no, they shouldn't do that, seeing as how he should have been with Alucard, Trevor, and Cypher during during the battle at Castle Dracula. But still, though, it was like the dude provided wisdom that you never thought he would have given to Isaac, who practically killed a whole bunch of people in a village because, oh, hey, we won't let them pass.
Yeah, they were kind of being dicks, to be fair.
Yeah,
He
but
said he wanted to leave, and he said, but instead of just saying, he said, and he was polite. He said, "We just want to get a ship and leave." They said, "Turn back" or whatever, instead of just letting them get a freaking ship.
and you can
And
say
at
that the
that
same thing
point,
with the second time, but it was like that I can understand, seeing as how he got another piece of advice, and it's like, please just let me go through your village. But it's like, wait, Isaac, can't you just use one of your winged beasts to fly and go over the village? You still could have avoided a blood.
I think I think it was the principle. Like, I think that was like a print. What I liked about it is like in the what I liked about it is like this kind like what I liked about. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here.
That's fine.
What I liked about it is after his interaction with the ship captain, you get a good idea of who Isaac really is, and that at the end of the day, he's just pissed off with humanity. That's what he is. He's a guy pissed off with humanity. He tries to have this philosophical argument with the ship captain, and basically the ship captain's argument was, "Hey, not all humans are bad. Even you got to admit this. Some humans are uh, can give you gifts. Some humans can offer wisdom or insight. Some humans aren't bad people, are willing to help you, just like me and the guy who gave you that magic mirror as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's at the end of the day, not all humans are bad. That's basically what the ship captain said. And to have this idea that they're all bad and deserve to be wiped off the face of the planet is kind of ludicrous. And I like the ship captain because he does call that out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after that, like think about it. In Before that, when they ask him, when Isaac asked them, "Hey, um, can you move? Can you like leave?" And they're acting all rude towards him, and he's upset that they won't just let him and his monsters pass. He tries to have this big philosophical speech about how he considers humans so despicable and terrible and horrible and all that. But you notice after his discussion with the ship captain, he's just so tired of that facade. I think he's just tired of the of what he basically simplifies what he really sees a lot of people as. He just says, "You people are just fucking rude," and he just starts killing them. And he's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Yeah." He's tired of the facade or idea of, "Oh my god." Basically, he went from this poetic idealism of that humans deserve to just die because it's some sort of natural order, or it should be so, or they don't deserve it, or they don't deserve to live, or anything like that. Now he went from seeing humans as a plague to seeing humans as an annoyance. And that's what I really liked about it. That was like subtle character development. He went
Mm-hmm.
from seeing humans to being like oh my god, this is a plague that I have to wipe out due to like, my this is my ideology. I have to wipe them out for the greater good or something like that.
The
Trying to find a
greater
higher
good.
purpose to destroy humans. And now he's like, you know what? Fuck it, man. You guys are just annoying. I'm tired of y'all. Just get out of my way. He's like, I like that. It's subtle. It's like a little subtle character development. I really do love that.
But the one thing I was kind of wondering is like with that old witch or hag that was pretty much on a rocking chair smoking a pipe. It's like, lady, you pretty much have an entire village out to yourself, and yet you don't do anything to improve it or whatever. Because when it came to the trailers, I honestly thought she was like Isaac's mentor that taught him in the ways of the Devil Forge magic. It was like, no, she's just a old lady that's like, oh, kill all the enslaved humans that I used to know. It's like, I'm really son, he could have figured that part on his own, lady.
I mean, I think she was just I think she was just I don't know. I don't really know what the point. Like that's like my only real big criticism for Isaac is that near the end, after he talks to Baxter Stockman,
Mhm.
um, he really doesn't have a lot of direction with his character or his story. He just kind of does stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so does the story. It's not terrible. It just feels like it was padding or filler. And I heard that big old human cluster ball was like something iconic from the games,
Yeah.
and that's why they put it in. So
It
I
definitely
guess,
looked weird in the show.
mm-hmm.
yeah, like I heard it was different in like it was like in the games, and like people like came in their pants because of it. So I guess fan service for the fans. I guess I don't know. That's cool. But like I said, it just felt kind of like filler. Like they just had to get something out of
Yeah,
Isaac
towards
some
the
more.
end for when it was like, there's honestly no way that Isaac could have find a different way to have his monsters getting transported to Carmilla's domain. He really had to go through an entire village fighting a bunch of mindless zombies, if you call it that, and have a good chunk of his monsters getting totally wiped out.
Yeah, I don't really.
Don't get me
I
wrong, I
mean,
love seeing the different versions of the monsters he created with his dagger, especially with that big, um, big dude that looked like that could fight Godzilla, but it was like there had to be a
I mean,
different way.
yeah, it just is, and I'm still not 100% sure how the whole devil magic works. That's gonna that get to get confusing. But outside of that, I really did like Isaac's art. It's the only thing that felt consistent with the other two seasons,
Oh yeah,
and
most
I
definitely.
really liked it. It was the best part of the season for me. Um, you could have like different opinions on everything. Almost everyone universally agrees that Isaac's part in the show was the best part of it.
Oh yeah, you besides towards to the end a little bit here and there. It's like Isaac's plot, best plot. You could
it
take
makes
that.
it makes me want it makes me very, very excited to see what he's going to bring to the table when he comes back to interact with the other characters, because it's going to be interesting to see how he as a changed man is going to interact with some of the characters who are still kind of, it seems like Isaac, out of all the characters so far, has his path figured out. Like he has like an idea as to where he wants to go. Whereas a lot of the characters right now are in the dark. Like they're still trying to figure out their place in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, the more I think about it, um, nothing really happened in this season. The more I think about it,
Besides with Isaac, but that was just roughly about
I,
it.
I mean, not even really Isaac. The only thing that happened is with Saint Germain. He's the only one who actually does something of note, and that's go on the time dimension portal thing. And and tease that Dracula might be coming back. But outside of that, nothing really happens.
Well, preventing Dracula
I'm,
from coming back is a pretty big, significant event. It's just
yeah,
it's
yeah, it's
from the viewpoint of the from a viewer's perspective. It's just it kind of feels it
it
kind of
feels
feels a little what's the word, like, it's everyone. Another thing that a lot of people all universally agreed on was that they loved Dracula.
Oh
That
yeah.
was an element
yeah
of the
we
show that was an element of the show that everyone loved, and with it being so absent, getting that little tease of him probably had a lot of people hoping that he was going to come back.
If anything, it was like for when Slim post. I don't know if it was posted on our Twitter group page or if it was just me and Slim's private thing on Twitter. But he posted the picture of the baboon dude from The Lion King with Simba in his hand, going like doing the teasing of the opening, and he chucks Simba off the cliff. It was like, that's how it pretty much felt like with Dracula appearing in hell with Lisa.
yeah it's like it's oh we have it. Like I said, like it was just it felt like like I said, it feels like a few elements of you know it felt like trolling the audience.
Would have
Felt
appreciated
like
maybe a few lines of dialogue from him.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
like
it felt like what it was one thing to like tease Dracula, right? It's another thing to say for Saint Germain to say, "Wait a minute, this is all to bring Dracula back." Fuck that! I gotta do something else that's more important. And I'm like, okay, what's more important than bringing Dracula back? I'm not going to explain it. Fuck
yeah,
you.
yeah. Graham McTavish's voice as Dracula, you just can't get enough of it. You just can't get enough of it. If anything,
So I'm like,
he's like the Christopher Lee for Dracula. Some roles are just meant to be perfect.
yeah, it's a good role. It's good take. I just think like it's like it felt like it felt like trolling the audience. Like people, this is what people wanted to come see. It's something that people were looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows he's gonna come back because that's a big staple of the series. But
I
like,
don't.
you can't just say, "Oh well, yeah, this you just want to bring back this character. That's boring. Screw it. I'm out of here." And I'm like, okay, what just happened? Not like okay.
Although I
Oh man.
sincerely doubt that they will bring Dracula back, because it's like once he realized what he was doing was totally wrong and almost killing his kid, it's like it's kind of like bringing the Emperor back for both Disney Star Wars canon and the old canon. It's like kind of undermines Anakin's sacrifice of destroying the ultimate evil in
I'm
the universe by sacrificing himself to protect
I,
his son.
I mean, to be fair, um the whole like expanded universe bringing Palpatine back, That's only in like Dark Empire, which was confirmed not canon even by Lucas,
Oh yeah.
because there's a lot of contradictions in it. So he just said it's not canon. So when even Lucas says when Lucas still says that the holiday special is canon, but something else isn't canon, it's not, canon. Just saying. But yeah, there's just so many contradictions in Dark Empire that a lot of people just say that it's not canon. That the actual Thrawn trilogy is the true sequel to Star Wars in the EU anyway.
True.
Well, the Thrawn trilogy and the Darkness saga.
But still, though, I'm not buying into the fact that they'll bring Dracula back. It's like, if anything, they'll probably just have Carmilla be a main villain throughout the entire series.
But Carmilla's an idiot, and I don't want Carmilla to be the main villain when she's an idiot. Carmilla is is not a threatening antagonist because she's not smart. Like, she's not even smart in the context of her own show. The show doesn't even try to make her intelligent. The show even admits she's an idiot, but people still follow her.
I was about to say, Dayton, don't jinx it, okay?
Oh, come on, you gotta know, I'm a pessimist. I can't help it but just be, if they bring Dracula back, they'll just find a way to make him Carmilla's bitch.
I mean, we're already seeing a few again, like I keep saying, I don't mean to sound paranoid, but a lot of people are gonna pick up on this eventually. But the only reason it hasn't is because it hasn't made that big of a stink yet. It hasn't gotten to the point where people care enough about Castlevania to actually pick up on this. But they're already like, can you hear me? What's wrong?
Yeah, I can hear.
There's no stink yet, basically, but we're already seeing hints of where the direction that they want to go in. And apparently the people who made Castlevania, this show, are very much apparently, how do I put this? Dan Harmon-esque, in that they're very upfront about what their politics are. Let's just say that. And you're already starting to see seeds of that. You got the two females just offhandedly saying, yeah, we're lovers, and then like the whole, oh yeah, it's gonna be a nation led by women. I'm like, okay, you get one of those, Castlevania, please don't. And I'm just like, don't go down this road, please.
I don't know.
Don't go down this road.
I don't see them. I'm not getting that at all, and I think it's because think I think that these people are putting story first before anything else, and that's a rarity nowadays.
I mean, like, yeah, they are. I just don't. It's just that when you can notice these things, like, because I've seen this happen. Like, maybe I'm just being pessimistic, maybe I am just being a little paranoid, but you start to notice things when some of your favorite franchises and stories are clearly trying to pander. I'm not trying to make this a socio-political thing on here. I don't want that to be on your stream, dude. I don't want this to be on your channel or anything. I know how much you don't like bringing this stuff up, but like, I just want to say, like, when you do that stuff, it really does impede on your writing. whether intentional or not, when you do that stuff, you can see the seeds of it be sowed into your story. And I'm seeing those seeds. I saw it with Legend of Korra. I saw it with Star Wars. I'm starting to see it now, and I'm trying to give it a chance because I don't want them to go down this road. I saw it in Rick and Morty season 3, and that's why I'm not even gonna bother with season 4 because like season 3 was so bad, and I don't want to see and like so like it kind of killed off season 4 for me. I used to really like Rick and Morty season 1 and 2, but season 3 was just so bad because they like completely lost the ball and put these people who had no idea what they were doing um in charge, and only had them there because Dan Harmon. I know I keep bringing him up, but he's like a good example of this BS. Dan Harmon really is like a great example of somebody who's super talented and actually has a lot of talent and is clever and funny, but like his politics got in the way and it slowly started to like eat away at what I liked about Rick and Morty. So by season 3 of Rick and Morty, I just tuned out of it, and and they say season 4 got better, but I'm not taking that risk because I got a taste of how bad Rick and Morty could get in season 3, and I feel the same way here. I'm still gonna if they do get a third season, I'm gonna check it out, of course, because I want to have more discussion with you guys. But I definitely lowered my expectations in terms of story.
Oh,
In
believe
terms
me.
of like where the story's going, I've lowered my expectations, which I don't want to do, which depresses me a little bit, honestly.
And I'm
But
not
like you go ahead.
and I'm not gonna lie, when they said they're gonna make a fourth season, it's like, okay, maybe it might be better, but I'm not giving much hope. So it's like I will watch it, but it's like this will be the season to where I'll be like, okay, should I just be like, okay, I'm done with it. I'm saying season 2 ended the series for me, or be like, okay, maybe season 4 did a lot better than what season 3 did. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's never too late. It's never too late to turn things around. I think like I think like I think like here's where we stand on this whole thing. Me personally, for what it was and what it and I think and again like I'm not like I said, this is coming from somebody who isn't deep into the lore of the games or whatever. I think like on its own, and I don't have the mindset of wait for the sequel because a good story should stand on its own. I never have that mindset. Wait for the sequel ever. I never say wait for the sequel for it to get better. I understand that mindset, and I'm not trying to call you out, Salem, but I think that's kind of where we disagree on how we see this how this setup is. Um that I think that I see it for what it is, and like I could and like I think you see it for the potential that it could bring. Would that be a fair like assessment of it? I don't
Well,
want to
I
like
well
put words.
I judge TV a little differently because
Yeah.
the thing is, it season by season, unless you're told definitively that you're going to get an ending next season, to me, it's like I always have to keep in mind that I haven't gotten the whole picture yet. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like all I
Yeah.
can do is judge what I've seen so far, and even what I've seen so far, I have to keep in mind all the time that I'm not going to get all the answers, and I'm going to get new questions as well. So
Yeah, but sometimes though,
that's
when you get the new questions, sometimes those things don't get answered. Just saying.
And sometimes sometimes that really and like I said, sometimes it's just not executed well. And
I
and
thought a lot
again,
of the stuff
I
was executed fairly well. It's just that the missteps that were here, they were very, very glaring, I guess.
that's fair. I mean, I'm not trying to like undermine you or anything, dude. I'm not trying to do that.
No.
I'm just
I'm not taking it that way at all.
I'm
Oh,
Oh boy.
hello.
Slim, you cut out. Slim, you cut out. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's getting late for me. I'm gonna have to log off. And
All right.
I need to get some shut eye, especially since I want to do some writing tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, and also we're gonna need to do another discuss. We're gonna need to do another stream
All
sometime
right.
here again. All right,
Yes.
you folks have a good one.
Yep. Good night.
Night.
All right. Well, for some reason, both Slim and Slim disconnected too. Here, 1 second. Okay, he's back. Let me get him back on here. Hey, Slim.
yeah, okay.
Okay, Dayton had a split, by the way.
Yeah, okay. I should probably end this soon. It's getting late anyway. Basically, for me, Castlevania season 3 has way too many I think like the best way to put it is there are way too many glaring problems for me to call Castlevania season 3 good. I think like overall that's my it's not so much that overall my experience was bad, because there's some stuff in it I like. I just think that these problems do accumulate into me just not liking it. That there are too many there are like way too many glaring problems for me to like just say like I'm not looking for something perfect. I'm like, yeah, just too many problems. This is too many things for me to like just ignore. Or at the very least, I don't want to be told that there is more or more is coming. I wanted to get something now. You know what I mean? Just something now. I don't want to wait longer for more answers or more questions. I want something now. You know what I mean?
I can get that if that's your preference. I just like I said, I come in with a whole different mindset if it's a television series. It's just like if this was like a movie, yeah, I would not be satisfied. But that's because a movie's supposed to be a little more definitive with its beginning and end.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
even with movie series, you're supposed to be getting a lot more of a complete story.
Yeah, that's definitely
with each installment. Whereas television, it's like it's more of an ongoing kind of medium of storytelling.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand that completely. I do understand, like, we got an ongoing story, and it is really about what happens next. But for me, anyway, it's like I don't like being told that there's more coming up next, and I'm like, just I would
Well,
like.
let's put it this way: we can't see the whole picture now because we have not gotten it from beginning to the end. But when you look at it in hindsight, once the ending of the series comes out, you might look back at this and you may still say like you didn't enjoy this season compared to the others, but it might give some justification for moving forward with the series. But we won't know.
that's
But we're not going to know until season 4 comes out, because the thing is, this stuff is going to be a huge detriment to the series overall if the elements that were unanswered or unsatisfactory here are not addressed moving forward.
that's again like that's a very fair assessment to come to when it comes to, and I get that TV versus movie thing. That's understandable, very understandable. I completely get that. It's just that I don't know. Maybe it's just preference. I think it does come down to that. Like, do you I get it. You're basically you're a big picture kind of guy. I'm a details kind of guy. If that makes any sense.
I would say that makes sense in this particular case, because depending on the medium, I can get really in the nitty gritty of details.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm like saying like in a this is just like I said, this is a series that's technically not complete yet.
Yeah,
that's technically not complete yet. But once it is complete, that's when you're gonna take everything in at once and go into the details of it. I like to think critically whenever I watch anything. Like, for instance, I watched what's a good example of this? I watched what was the movie? It was a movie I did not like. It was Knives Out. I watched Knives Out, and a lot of people kept telling me, "Oh, it's good," it proves the guy isn't a hack. He's actually a good writer. Went into Knives Out, thought it was gonna be good, ended up sucking because it's supposed to be like this whodunit, right? Like a whodunit mystery, and it's really stupid movie. I hated it. I mean, I don't hate it, but I didn't like it. And I just thought, like, people thought this is a good movie, and I'm like, thinking about it, it's because I went in thinking critically. I went in wanting to look closely at the movie, because that's what I do when I hear that a movie's about a mystery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to the movie expecting a mystery, a good murder mystery, or somebody said, "Oh, well, it's kind of a genre of murder mystery thriller, whatever have you." Still sucked, by the way. I might have to do a video on that. Actually, I might just do that, because I've heard people who I legitimately have the same like taste in movies in says the movie's actually pretty good, and I'm like, no, it's not, it's not, it's not a good movie, Salem. Don't watch Knives Out. It's a really, it's literally
no,
a
believe
movie.
me, I have no intention.
It's a movie. How do I put this? It's a movie that literally can only be that literally gets solved and happens because everyone in it acts like an idiot. I'm not even exaggerating.
Not the best way to go about your mystery movie.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Like, there's this one scene in particular that really got under my skin. Was like they try basically. I don't want to spoil anything or whatever. I don't care. I fuck you. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't care. I don't think anyone's watching anymore. So I'm just gonna spoil Knives Out for you right now. Near the end of the movie, basically the entire point was to hammer home that the nurse Marta, right? She's like the main character. Turns out that she was quote unquote innocent the entire time because they said she accidentally poisoned him by having him giving him an overdose of morphine. But like what actually happened was Chris Evans' character actually switched the vials around. So she ended up giving him the right dose of the right medicine. But here's the thing. She thought she gave him the wrong dose because Chris Evans already changed the vials around. So basically, she ended up giving him the right dose of the right medicine, even though basically she didn't read the. Basically, the detective tries to say, "Well, you picked up the right bottle on instinct, so that makes you a good nurse." And I'm like, no, the number one thing you do as a nurse is read the bottle and make sure you administer the rights. Ironically enough, Ryan didn't have the foresight. Basically, he made his character look like an imbecile because he didn't have the foresight to write it well. He made her look like an incompetent nurse when he tried to write it off as she was too good of a nurse because she picked the right bottle on instinct, even though he literally switched the bottles around. So, in your vain attempt to make her seem like she's actually a good nurse because she picked the right bottle out of instinct, you made her look like an incompetent nurse. So, either way, regardless of whether he switched the bottles around, she looks like she's incompetent and could have potentially killed somebody because she didn't read the labels and didn't administer the right dose. And that's just one example of how stupid his writing is. Like, it's just so stupid.
Well, what
I
else do you expect from the guy who wrote The Last Jedi?
I don't know, dude. And then it turns out that the subtle Chris Evans character was trying to frame the nurse, right? So he hired the greatest detective in the world to figure it out for some reason. And he does all the stuff, including burning down a forensics lab and going to literally an active crime scene for and dude, I'm not even kidding when I say this. The detective, right? Guess how he figures out that Chris Evans is the killer, is the guy who did everything. Guess how he figures it out?
What?
He gives a wild hunch. Not even kidding. He says, "Oh, you weren't at the funeral? You're actually doing this." And I'm like, "Okay, what's your proof?" "Well, he wasn't at the funeral." That's literally all the quote unquote proof you actually have. When he's explaining how he did it, it felt like he just grabbed the script and read it while the scenes played out, and that's supposed to mean that he actually. It's just so dumb. I'm sorry, it's a really bad movie, and people call it good. I will give credit that there's good detailing in the design and how the movie looks. Because I guarantee, because if people are saying, "Oh, well, it's a smash hit at the box office too," and I'm just like, it made 160 from 40 million, and the movie looks like it's indie half the time. It still looks good, but it looks indie half the time, and I guarantee you, most of that 40 million went into getting the actors, and it made 160 million at the box office. So I won't say that it did poorly, but to say that it was some box office smash hit is being disingenuous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it made like 500,000 or something like that, I'd be impressed. But like, it made 4 times its budget back. From a relatively cheap movie to make, and it didn't really have any competition outside of Frozen 2. That's it. Like, but anyway, I could do an entire video on why Knives Out is stupid, but I
Yeah, you'll
like,
have to go into the nitty gritty of the details of it.
because that's like the thing. Like I see, like, it feels like it's one of those movies where it's one of those movies where the people who make it are people who watch it feel like they got the big brains, but the minute that you call out one, like, something that would easily make the entire plot of the movie fall apart, they would pull the whole subjective card or objective card or something, when murder mysteries are literally all in
Objective.
the detail. Yeah, all in the details. Literally all in the details. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I'm sorry, I babble when I'm tired. I'm going to sign
Oh,
out.
you're fine. Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
Thanks for having me on, Salem. We got to do this sooner next time instead of waiting like a year or two. Maybe 6 months.
Yeah, sure thing.
Maybe 6 months.
Well,
Seven.
we'll jump on the opportunity that we get, eh?
Yeah, and I might be, and considering that I have this tablet in my possession, I think I should be able to host like a StreamYard on my channel too now, if I can. And that way you don't
Oh,
have to
okay.
always be on
Sounds
your
good.
channel. Hopefully that may be the case. And maybe I could set up more stuff for you, Dayton. I want to have Florence on here too, maybe Bagson. I think they'd be awesome on here, because I tried to get them on a podcast, and that didn't work out because they were busy, but hopefully I can make that a thing. So for the 2 people who are still watching, I don't know who's actually watching. Just look out, because I might be doing podcasts real soon. Later, Salem. I'm out. Peace. Love you, brother. Good night.
All right. Good night, man. Have a good night. All right, guys. I'll go ahead and sign it out here, and I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you next time.